Chapter 1007. What was a great emperor? Those who stepped on the supreme Tao were called great emperors. They were the controllers of the great Tao's rules. They were the pinnacle of existence, overlooking all living beings. With a thought, heaven and earth would collapse. With a thought, heaven and earth would crack. They could even touch the river of time. Controlling karma, controlling reincarnation, and shaping heaven and earth. It was the perfect manifestation of the ultimate form of life evolution. This was the kind of existence that could truly be called an imperial clan by themselves. At this moment, a great emperor from the immortal domain personally took action. That kind of wave was indescribable. The arrow of laws seemed to condense the most brilliant light in the world, incomparably dazzling. From the immortal domain, it shot to the desolate border in an instant. Everywhere it passed, the void collapsed, and the divine chains of order were broken. Along the way, several vast starfields were directly destroyed by this arrow, turning into dust drifting in the universe. The entire desolate border trembled under this arrow, greatly shaken. Heavens, that power! It's a great emperor has taken action. How is that possible? Is the target the chaos physique? The chaos physique actually made a great emperor take action? Throughout the desolate border, countless geniuses sucked in a breath of cold air, their hearts trembling. What kind of people were great emperors? They suppressed heaven and earth, and all living beings worshipped them. They all relied on their status. Yet, at this moment, he was attacking a member of the younger generation. It could be said that even if Jun Xiaoyao died, his name would go down in history. Because from ancient times until now, there had never been a great emperor who took action against a paragon. But now Jun Xiaoyao had attracted the great emperor's killing intent. It was enough to see how monstrous and terrifying his talent was. Even a great emperor disregarded his status and wanted to kill him directly. That's true, Jun Xiaoyao was a little speechless. This was like a flood rushing to the Dragon King's temple, family not recognizing family. However, it was understandable. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's current status was different. In addition, because of his fateless constitution, karma couldn't be checked. Therefore, it was normal to misunderstand. Is the chaos physique going to die? Many geniuses exclaimed. Even a great emperor had taken action, there was no doubt about it. Over at the blood sacrifice ground, the surrounding geniuses retreated rapidly, hiding far away. When a great emperor attacked, even the aftershocks could kill all living beings in the vicinity. Just as that destructive arrow of natural order was about to shoot toward Jun Xiaoyao on the other side, an ancient, cold snort sounded. Big Dipper Martial Emperor, you old bastard! To think that you would be so shameless as to break the rules! Hearing this voice, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He had heard this voice before. Back when he killed the Prince Emojie, the quasi-undying from the Emojie family wanted to cause trouble for him. In the end, a voice rang out, stopping the Emojie Emperor race's quasi-undying. And now that voice sounded again. It was the immortal king from the Ares Academy. After he finished speaking, on the other side, a sky-covering great hand appeared. It wasn't a hand made of flesh and blood. Instead, it was a hand made of various great Tao precepts, divine chains of order, and law runes. It was as if a single hand could overturn the heavens and earth and destroy the universe. Rumble! The sky of desolate borders cosmos was shaking. The giant hand grabbed the arrow of rule that was shooting towards Jun Xiaoyao. The two collided. Hundreds of millions of miles of huge spatial cracks spread out. Spatial turbulence surged, the void became chaotic, and the divine chains of order collapsed. Countless large stars were instantly pulverized by the shock waves of the collision. This was a battle between great emperors. Even if it was just the simplest collision, there was a feeling of world destruction. That giant hand grabbed the arrow of rule. On the other side of the border, the great emperors guarding the border raised their spirit. If the two world destroyer kings were allowed to return to the other side, When they grew up in the future, they would pose a great threat to the celestial realm. Under everyone's gazes, that giant hand that covered the sky clenched its 5 fingers. Intense sparks shot out. Those weren't real sparks, but the light produced by great Tao flames. The two were competing, controlling the great Tao precepts to collide with each other. This scene made many desolate borders prodigies go crazy, as if they were dumbfounded. Even some mystic venerables, godly venerables, and Tao venerables were observing carefully. The battle between two emperor-level existences was a great opportunity to comprehend the Tao in itself, able to bring endless inspiration to people. Is this an emperor-level battle? It's no longer restricted to the changes of divine abilities, but a collision of great Tao and rule. Jun Xiaoyao was also observing and comprehending. It gave people the feeling that he wasn't the target of that arrow. And in this short period of time, Yi Zichen's expression changed. Jun Xiaoyao borrowed this inspiration opportunity. He once again comprehended the dozen or so war god diagrams in the war god catalog. Boom! At this moment, an ear-shattering sound rang out between heaven and earth. Everyone looked over in shock. They shockingly discovered that the arrow of rule was directly crushed by the giant hand. All kinds of resplendent brilliance appeared, and rule fragments shot into the universe's sky. He failed? On the celestial realm side, the faces of the prodigies were a bit pale. Could it be that their celestial realm's great emperors were really inferior to the immortal kings of the other side? Many people trembled, feeling sorrow in their hearts. Big Dipper Great Emperor, you were previously seriously injured in the war between two realms, leaving behind irreversible injuries. Wouldn't it be better to just obediently sleep? Why waste so much effort? On the other side, War God Academy's immortal king's voice sounded. When these words were spoken, many people were shocked. What? You're telling me that this move was displayed by a seriously injured great emperor? Many people were dumbfounded. This wave of fluctuation destroyed heaven and earth. Many people thought that it was a great emperor at his peak attacking with all his strength. In the end, it was actually just a seriously injured great emperor attacking. Then, if it was a truly uninjured great emperor attacking, what kind of scene would that be? Many people sucked in a breath of cold air, a bit stunned and stupefied. They once again refreshed their understanding of great emperors. Figures of this realm were too powerful, unimaginable. Lianpo is old, can he still eat? I can also use the last bit of my remaining energy. On the celestial realm side, Big Dipper Great Emperor, who was located in the depths of the starry sky, smiled slightly. On the desolate borders side, amidst the crushed and exploded arrow of rule, suddenly another miniature ray of light shot out, its speed extremely fast. In an instant it arrived at Jun Xiaoyao's side. That glimmer of light was a miniature arrow. Although its power was like heaven and earth compared to the arrow of rule just now. However, it was definitely more than enough to kill a supreme being. After all, it was a great emperor's move. Even the aftermath could kill a supreme being. Mother and child arrow, you. The immortal king's voice sounded from the other side. Everyone was also stunned by this sudden scene. Then, they suddenly understood. It turned out that the powerful arrow of rule was just a pretense. It was because they knew that there would be supreme experts from the other side intercepting it. As for the true killing move, it was only after the arrow of laws was intercepted and destroyed that it was unleashed. It had to be said that the great emperor's scheming methods were really not that simple. Young master. When Su Hongyi saw this, she cried out in alarm and directly blocked in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, he thought of something. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up into an undetectable smile. In order to do this, he had to seriously injure himself. Hongyi, get out of the way. Jun Xiaoyao directly pulled Su Hongyi to the side. Then, he suffered this great emperor's killing move. Chapter 1008. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. It was beyond everyone's expectations. It was in that instant that everything changed. Jun Xiaoyao used all of his defensive means. He pushed his magical power immunity to the extreme. A total of 20 layers of magical power immunity halos appeared and enveloped Jun Xiaoyao's entire body. Then, the supreme divine blood in his body boiled, and the fourth supreme technique was used, increasing all of his attributes. There were also 520 Sumer worlds, which was also a huge defense. In the inner universe, the universe's origin power was flowing, protecting Jun Xiaoyao's body. The divine spirit immortality technique was also operating in his body, preparing to heal his injuries. Almost in an instant, Jun Xiaoyao prepared all of his defenses. The reason why he did this was because Jun Xiaoyao thought of a way. This method might allow him to obtain another great opportunity. Of course, the premise was that Jun Xiaoyao had to pay a certain price. Pucci. The miniature arrow pierced Jun Xiaoyao. The 20 layers of magical power immunity halos were directly shattered without any suspense. Then, the arrow directly pierced Jun Xiaoyao's body. The 520 Sumer worlds in his body were shattered by the powerful and boundless force in an instant. There was a bloody mist spurting out. Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe shook, and the universe's origin power surged. But it was still difficult to block the arrow. It was not that the universe's origin power was weak. It was that the great emperor-level means were too strong. Finally, Pucci, accompanied by the sound of flesh and blood breaking, the arrow pierced Jun Xiaoyao's body. Jun Xiaoyao's body was still and frozen. At this moment, it seemed that even time was frozen, and the world fell into a dead silence. "Master!" Su Hongyi screamed, and her face was as pale as paper. Everyone else was stunned as well. Is the chaotic body dead? Of course, that goes without saying. But why didn't he explode into a bloody mist? Maybe the chaotic body's physique is too strong. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Jun Xiaoyao. Lingyan didn't know why, but his heart suddenly tightened. Under the gazes of countless people, Jun Xiaoyao did not move. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He slowly opened his mouth, and blood flowed out. "Big Dipper Emperor, not bad." This voice spread throughout the world. This one sentence caused everyone to be dumbfounded. Is he mocking the great emperor? The chaotic body is so powerful that it even dares to provoke a great emperor. Is he trying to place himself above the martial monarchs? Desolate Border was in an uproar. Everyone who heard this had their eyes and mouths wide open. Their scalps went numb, and they were shocked to the extreme. What kind of figure was the great emperor? Everyone worshipped him, high up above. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao said that the great emperor was not bad. He said the most arrogant words in the calmest tone. He was probably the first one since ancient times. Most importantly, although Jun Xiaoyao was seriously injured, he didn't die. As a supremacy, he took a blow from the great emperor and didn't die. He is indeed qualified to say this. Many people were shocked and sighed. Throughout the countless eras of the past, who could take a blow from the great emperor at the supremacy stage? Although the power of that arrow was weakened by 99% by the immortal king of the Ares Academy, the remaining power was enough to easily kill any supremacy. Even lesser heavenly venerables and greater heavenly venerables might die. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao was still alive. This was absolutely shocking and speechless. "Young master, how are you?" Su Hongyi flashed forward, her expression extremely nervous, afraid that something would happen to Jun Xiaoyao. The only reason she was alive now was for Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's body was covered in blood, and there were terrifying penetrating wounds. If an ordinary supremacy was hit by this blow, their body would definitely explode and turn into dust. As for Jun Xiaoyao, although there were terrifying wounds on his body didn't disintegrate. This was already a miracle. However, while his body was injured, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit also suffered a destructive attack. Because this arrow didn't just destroy the physical body, but also the primordial spirit. Even someone as strong as Jun Xiaoyao had to pay a great price to take this arrow head-on. It could be said that it was already a miracle that Jun Xiaoyao could still speak. At the border, the expressions of the several boundary emperors above the starry sky changed, and they couldn't remain calm. He's still not dead? We've already lost our chance. The boundary emperors sighed. They never expected that even a great emperor couldn't kill the chaotic body. Deep in the starry sky, the hunchbacked old man shrouded in blurry starlight, who was the Big Dipper Emperor, shook his head slightly. Cough cough. I'm old. Who in the new generation of the immortal domain can deal with him? The Big Dipper Emperor didn't choose to attack again. He had already lowered himself for the future of the immortal domain by taking action once. If he took action again, then he would really be shameless, completely losing the attitude of a great emperor. Not to mention, it was useless even if he took action again. This kind of mother-son arrow method could only be used once. But next, the border will probably be chaotic for a while. The Big Dipper Emperor's tone carried a hint of worry. The immortal domain broke the rules first. On the other side, it was naturally impossible for them to let the matter go. Big Dipper Emperor, I look forward to fighting with you in the future. On the other side, the War God Academy's immortal king snorted coldly, shaking the universe's sky like thunder. Clearly, the immortal domain's side breaking the rules first already made the supreme experts of the other side a little unhappy. On the side of the great blood sacrifice ground, many geniuses were still immersed in deep shock. Jun Xiaoyao's body was trembling slightly. This time, I've gambled too much, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He felt that his life aura was like a candle in the wind, incomparably weak. In fact, Jun Xiaoyao still had a trump card that he hadn't used. It was the 10-star reward, the Azure Black Blood. If he fused it, it would allow Jun Xiaoyao to enter the dark mode. In that case, it shouldn't be difficult to resist this move without being injured. But that wouldn't achieve Jun Xiaoyao's goal. He wanted to heavily injure himself. Young master. Su Hongyi supported Jun Xiaoyao's body. Send me back to the War God Academy. Jun Xiaoyao slumped forward as soon as he finished speaking. Su Hongyi hurriedly went forward and hugged Jun Xiaoyao in her arms. Don't worry, young master. I will definitely escort you back to the War God Academy safely. Su Hongyi hugged Jun Xiaoyao tightly with one hand. At this moment, the aura of a supreme being suddenly filled the surroundings of the blood sacrifice ground. Several seed-level geniuses of the immortal domain appeared. The chaotic body took a blow from the great emperor. Even if he doesn't die, he will be severely injured and on the verge of death. This is our only chance. The seed-level geniuses shouted coldly and charged towards Jun Xiaoyao and Su Hongyi. That's right, this is a great opportunity. The other prodigies of the immortal domain also reacted, and their eyes immediately turned red. Killing an alien chaotic body was a great achievement. They would definitely leave their names in the annals of the immortal domain. Even Gu Tizi was a little tempted. You want to harm the young master? You're courting death. Su Hongyi instantly turned from a pretty girl into a red-clothed demon queen with a murderous aura. The aura of a supreme being spread out, and in the void, many datura flowers bloomed. Protect the war god. The other prodigies of the immortal domain also reacted and rushed forward. The prodigies of the two domains immediately fought. Chapter 1009. The sounds of fighting and shouting could be heard incessantly. The immortal domain's heaven's prides were all bloodthirsty. They only wanted to kill the foreign chaotic body. Meanwhile, the other side's heaven's prides were risking their lives to protect the war god in their hearts. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to have become the benchmark and faith of the other side's younger generation. His importance to the other side was self-evident. You must kill the chaos body. This is a great achievement that will leave your name in history. An immortal domain's seed-level heaven's pride roared. Immortal domain's ants want to harm the war god? You're courting death. The other side's heaven's pride roared. The great blood sacrifice ground instantly turned into a battlefield of slaughter. Several immortal domains seed-level heaven's prides released their supreme auras, blasting away the surrounding foreign creatures. They directly attacked Su Hongyi and Jun Xiaoyao. You're all courting death. Seeing the immortal domain's seed-level heaven's pride surround them, Su Hongyi's black hair danced in the wind. Her blood-red eyes had a devil's snare flower blooming. She activated the great dark sky mirror, releasing a hazy bloodlight. This was a world-destroying forbidden artifact on the same level as the god's weeping war halberd. Now that it was in Su Hongyi's hands, it could display unfathomable power. In addition, Su Hongyi herself had reached the supreme realm, and there was Mo Haitian in her body. It could be said that the current Su Hongyi was many times stronger than before. Even among the other side's younger generation, she was definitely one of the top existences. After all, she was one of the 6 world-destroying kings. Apart from Jun Xiaoyao, there weren't many people of the same generation who could suppress Su Hongyi. Devil's Sacrifice. Su Hongyi activated her ultimate move. This was a divine ability engraved in her bloodline. In the void, one after another, magnificent blood-red devil's snare flowers appeared. There was a kind of strangeness in the beauty. What kind of power is this? An immortal domain heaven's pride roared in horror. He discovered that all the power in his body seemed to be sucked away by the devil's snare flowers. It was as if he was being sacrificed. Pucci! A heaven's pride's body exploded. But the strange thing was that there was no blood flowing out. Instead, blood-red petals filled the sky. This strange scene made many people's hair stand on end. He recalled Jun Xiaoyao's terrifying move. Those who dare to harm young master die. Su Hongyi held Jun Xiaoyao tightly with one arm. She was like a demon queen who had bravely broken through the encirclement for the man she loved. Although she had obtained the power of Mo Haitian. However, it was clear that the current her was unable to fully unleash Mo Haitian's power. However, even if he could only unleash 1/10,000th of it, it was still extremely terrifying. After all, this Mo Haitian was the supreme celestial form of the Mahakala god. Heavenly god Mahakala could even use this Mo Haitian to fight against the 5 great emperors. Although Su Hongyi could only unleash a sliver of Mo Haitian's power, it was enough to wipe out all enemies. One genius after another fell in front of Su Hongyi. Even supreme-level seed-level sky prides were extremely weak in front of Su Hongyi, who had obtained Mo Haitian and the Mahakala mirror. Right now, Su Hongyi's strength was at least on the level of the 7 minor emperors of the foreign realm. Blood rained down. The blood-red light beam shot out from the Mahakala mirror directly tore apart an immortal realm's seed-level sky pride, destroying his primordial spirit. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Gu Tizi's expression darkened. Originally, this was the best opportunity to kill the chaotic physique. However, Su Hongyi's strength was too terrifying. Mo Haitian alone was enough to make her invincible. Not to mention, she also had the Mahakala mirror, which could kill gods and Buddhas in its way. On the other side, Ling Yan did not make a move. To be honest, it was not that she had not guessed that the chaotic physique might be Jun Xiaoyao. However, after thinking about it, even she felt that it was a little ridiculous. This was really a little too much for her to think about. In the end, Su Hongyi killed all the seed-level sky prides who attacked. Her battle record could be said to be the best after Jun Xiaoyao. However, Su Hongyi did not care. She only wanted to send Jun Xiaoyao back to the Ares Academy for treatment. Under Su Hongyi's escort, Jun Xiaoyao left the Great Blood Sacrifice ground. Gu Tizi and the others did not make a move in the end, because he did not have the ability to stop Su Hongyi. After that, there were foreign experts who came to receive Jun Xiaoyao and escort him back to the foreign realm. This time, the desolate border training was over. However, the matter was not completely over. After that, there were foreign immortal kings who knocked on the border. The entire border was trembling, and an immortal radiance illuminated the heavens. The immortal realm side also lost a group of experts. They all knew that this was the foreign realm's revenge. After all, it was their immortal realm side who broke the rules first. And a few days later, Jun Xiaoyao was teleported back to the Styx River continent through the teleportation array. Su Hongyi brought Jun Xiaoyao back to the Ares Academy. However, as soon as they arrived at the Ares Academy, in the void, a peerless beauty in a plain long dress with a belt fluttering in the wind like a fairy appeared. It was Luo Xiangling. "Leave him to me." Luo Xiangling's tone was indisputable. Su Hongyi handed Jun Xiaoyao to Luo Xiangling. Luo Xiangling embraced Jun Xiaoyao's body. Looking at the young master in white clothes stained with blood, Luo Xiangling's heart suddenly trembled. "He's seriously injured and needs medical treatment." Luo Xiangling turned around and headed towards the depths of the Ares Academy. On the other side, Fei Qingxue also heard the news of Jun Xiaoyao's serious injuries and was very anxious. As for Xianyu, she was still recuperating, so she did not know. As for Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun, they had already returned to Tushan. With Jun Xiaoyao's return, the news in the desolate border finally reached the foreign realm. It immediately caused a huge uproar. With the strength of one person, he almost instantly killed more than 10 seed-level prodigies of the immortal region, even more than the god of war, who set the record of 10 consecutive kills. And even his follower is one of the 6 world destruction kings. Lord Chaos Physique can actually take a blow from the great emperor and not die. When the foreign realm creatures learned of Jun Xiaoyao's various battle achievements in the desolate border, all of them were so shocked that their souls were trembling. Was this a battle achievement that a human could achieve? Monstrous, heaven-defying, and abnormal were not enough to describe Jun Xiaoyao's performance. Perhaps it could only be called a miracle. Great, under the leadership of the Chaos Physique, if the 6 world destruction kings really grow up, they might really be able to destroy the immortal region in this era. Many foreign realm creatures were shouting excitedly, thinking that the dawn had arrived. The disciples of the Ares Academy were even more crazy. Their worship of Jun Xiaoyao reached a peak, because the foreign realm had the concept of the strong being supreme. Jun Xiaoyao had undoubtedly become an existence like a benchmark. I just don't know if Lord Chaos Physique can recover from his injuries. That's right. That group of immortal region dregs actually made the great emperor take action. Many foreign realm creatures were worried about Jun Xiaoyao's situation. And within the Ares Academy, Jun Xiaoyao was lying in a treasure land filled with dense dragon energy. This was the source of the dragon vein. And at this moment, several figures gathered here. They all emitted a supreme aura. They were all quasi-immortal realm experts of the Ares Academy. Among them was Luo Xiangling. If you want to save him, there's only one way. That is to extract the dragon vein and merge it into his body. Luo Xiangling's tone was firm. Chapter 10:10. What, this? Hearing Luo Xiangling's words, the quasi-immortal level Ares Academy's quasi-immortal level experts hesitated. This was no small matter. The entire Ares Academy relied on this dragon vein to establish itself. If the Ares Academy was compared to a building, the dragon vein was like a cornerstone. It was precisely because of this dragon vein that the entire Ares Academy could become a paradise and nurture countless heroes. But if the dragon vein was given to Jun Xiaoyao, that was equivalent to giving the opportunities of countless geniuses to him alone. Although the Ares Academy would not immediately fall from grace after losing the dragon vein, but as time passed, the effect of the paradise would be weakened by more than half. After all, this dragon vein was formed by gathering the fate of a foreign world. It was very precious and rare. This is a serious matter. Do we need to consider it at length? A quasi-immortal level expert hesitated. Can we still delay it now? Don't you know what he means to our world? He is one of the 6 world-destroying kings, and his followers are also the 6 world-destroying kings. If he grows up, he will definitely become the pillar of our world. Moreover, he is the inheritor of the first-generation god of war. The entire Ares Academy was founded by the first-generation god of war. It is reasonable to use up a dragon vein to save him, Luo Xiangling said. Hearing this, the quasi-immortal level experts were speechless. And I believe that he may surpass the first-generation god of war, Luo Xiangling continued. The quasi-immortal level experts were all silent. If they heard this before, they might have thought that it was a bit whimsical. But now, after the desolate border incident, Jun Xiaoyao's performance could no longer be described as dazzling. It was a miraculous existence. Which prime could survive in the hands of a great emperor? Jun Xiaoyao might not be able to kill a great emperor even if he reached the quasi-immortal level, let alone a great emperor, Thinking of this, the quasi-immortal level experts were somewhat tempted. At this moment, an indifferent voice sounded. I disagree. The newcomer was dressed in green with a pair of ancient green wings on his back. It was the Fufeng of Gojosian. Fufeng of Gojosian. Luo Xiangling frowned. Luo Xiangling also knew more or less about the desolate border. She knew that Prince Bian, the Blood Emperor, and the others were plotting against Jun Xiaoyao. There was definitely someone behind them. Luo Xiangling suspected that it might be the Fufeng of Gojosian. However, because there was no clear evidence, Luo Xiangling didn't say anything. Fufeng of Gojosian glanced at Luo Xiangling. After seeing how worried Luo Xiangling was about Jun Xiaoyao, his heart sank even more. This brat is really lucky. Forget about Prince Nirvana and his group of trash. Even the great sovereign couldn't take his life. Fufeng of Gojosian said coldly in his heart. However, on the surface, his expression was calm as he smiled at Luo Xiangling. Luo King, I can understand that you cherish talents. However, the matter of the dragon vein is too important. Shouldn't you seriously consider it? Luo Xiangling said expressionlessly, do you think that the current situation is suitable for long-term planning? How could Luo Xiangling not know? Because of him, Fufeng of Gojosian was prejudiced and disgusted with Jun Xiaoyao. He couldn't wait to see Jun Xiaoyao fall. How could he agree to use the dragon vein to save Jun Xiaoyao? For a moment, the situation was in a stalemate. Luo Xiangling looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was lying on the jade platform with his eyes closed and a pale face. Her sparkling eyes were filled with concern and worry. When Fufeng of Gojosian saw this scene, his emotions couldn't help but fluctuate. He clearly didn't have her for a moment. However, he felt like he was being cheated on, just as the situation was in a dilemma. Suddenly, an ancient voice sounded. Use the dragon vein to heal him. Hearing this voice, the quasi-immortal level powerhouses present were all shocked. The one who spoke was the immortal king of Ares Academy, who intercepted the Big Dipper Emperor's arrow of rule in the desolate border. The Shanao of Beach. This was an ancient supreme who had lived for an extremely long time and had an extremely high seniority. Rumor had it that he had lived for several eras and had seen the vicissitudes of the world. It could be said that even quasi-immortal level powerhouses like Fufeng of Gojosian couldn't compare to the Shanao of Beach. That was just a younger brother. No, he wasn't even a younger brother. He could probably be the grandson of the grandson of the grandson. It was precisely because the Shanao of Beach had a long lifespan that he could protect Ares Academy for several eras. This experience and this contribution made the Shanao of Beach have an unparalleled status in Ares Academy. Even the other ancient supreme powerhouses of Ares Academy respected the Shanao of Beach very much. Senior Shanao of Beach, isn't this a bit inappropriate? The dragon vein is very important. Fufeng of Gojosian braced himself and said. Even if he was a quasi-immortal level powerhouse, he still had to call the Shanao of Beach senior. Unless Fufeng of Gojosian could break through and become a true immortal king. Otherwise, he would always be inferior to the Shanao of Beach. No need to say more. He's very important to our world. The Shanao of Beech's voice carried an unquestionable feeling. The Shanao of Beech is indeed wise. Luo Xiangling revealed a joyful expression. Her identity was special. She was also the only person in Ares Academy who didn't need to call the Shanao of Beech Sr. Then let's do as the Shanao of Beech Sr. says. Seeing this, the other quasi-immortal level powerhouses also said. Since the Shanao of Beech agreed, they naturally went with the flow. After the matter was decided, they quickly took action. The quasi-immortal level powerhouses worked together and started to set up a formation. They wanted to extract the dragon vein and put it into Jun Xiaoyao's body. They wanted to nourish him and heal his serious injuries. Seeing this, the Fufeng of Gojoseon left with a cold expression. About 7 days later, the formation was set up. Jun Xiaoyao was in the center of the formation. The quasi-immortal level powerhouses started to extract the dragon vein. Instantly, the entire Ares Academy trembled violently. The ground shook and the mountains shook. The ground cracked open and spirit chi surged. What's happening? What's going on? I feel that the spirit chi between heaven and earth is rapidly decreasing. Prodigies in every corner of Ares Academy cried out in surprise. Ares Academy was located on the Dragon Vein. That was the place where the fate of the foreign world gathered. It was a 1-in-a-million blessed land. Ares Academy was able to nurture so many heroes. It was also thanks to the Dragon Vein. The Dragon Vein provided a huge amount of spirit chi for those prodigies to cultivate. But now, the spirit chi of heaven and earth was flowing away. The Dragon Vein was being extracted and was going to be absorbed into Jun Xiaoyao's body. If it were any other prodigy, they would not be able to accept this majestic energy. But if it was the chaotic body, then it was fine. He could completely absorb it. After all, it was one of the top 3,000 constitutions. If he didn't even have this ability, he would not be worthy of the chaotic body's title of invincible. Roar. A dragon's roar sounded in the sky above Ares Academy. The golden dragon vein was extracted and floated in the void. After such a long time, the dragon vein naturally gave birth to a spirituality. It was naturally unwilling to be absorbed and refined by someone. Saving Xiaoyao is your destiny. Luo Xiangling controlled the formation I and suppressed the dragon vein with the other quasi-immortal level powerhouses, absorbing it into Jun Xiaoyao's body. Roar. The dragon vein was rolling and roaring. Magic power waves shook heaven and earth, and various laws appeared. As the dragon vein of a world, its strength was also boundlessly powerful. But there were several quasi-immortal level powerhouses here, and there was also a formation set up in advance to suppress it. No matter how strong the dragon vein was, it couldn't escape, let alone cause any trouble. In the void, endless formation diagrams appeared and pressed down on the dragon vein, causing it to shrink. In the end, it seemed to have shrunk into a golden python and was pressed into Jun Xiaoyao's body. In an instant, Jun Xiaoyao's body shone with a golden light. The terrifying wounds on his body began to heal quickly. And in Jun Xiaoyao's sleeping subconscious, a faint light of consciousness appeared. I finally got the dragon vein. Everything is going according to plan. Chapter 10-11. All of this was just a scheme that Jun Xiaoyao had thought of at the last minute. When he came to the Ares Academy previously, he had paid attention to this foreign domain's dragon vein. At that time, he had already planned to think of a way to take the dragon vein into his inner universe. Not only could he benefit from it, he could also let the foreign domain have one less dragon vein and one less method to nurture prodigies. Wouldn't that be the best of both worlds? However, it was obviously not that simple to obtain the dragon vein. First, he had to show his value. Jun Xiaoyao's performance in the desolate border was already a miracle. It was enough to prove his value. Secondly, he had to be in danger before he had a reason to obtain the dragon vein. It was precisely because of this that Jun Xiaoyao chose to bear the Big Dipper Emperor's attack. so that he would be severely injured. In fact, Jun Xiaoyao was also gambling. After all, not everyone dared to face the great emperor's attack head-on. If he was not careful, he might really die. If that happened, there would be no medicine for regret. Fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao had condensed the physical body law, and his physical strength had reached a new level. That was why he could barely withstand this attack. Of course, it was because he had taken the great emperor's attack. In fact, it was just a move that had been weakened by many times. After all, 99% of the power had been blocked by the Ares Academy's Shinao of Beak. No wonder everyone wants to become a great emperor. The great emperor's ability to create clouds and rain with a flip of his hand is indeed desirable. Jun Xiaoyao thought silently in his mind. However, to him, becoming a great emperor was inevitable. In fact, it was not even the end. I've already obtained the dragon vein. Next is to recover from my injuries. There's also Luo Xiangling. If it weren't for her fighting, I might not have obtained the dragon vein so quickly. Luo Xiangling had indeed helped Jun Xiaoyao a lot. In the future, if possible, Jun Xiaoyao did not mind completely subduing Luo Xiangling. In the following period of time, Jun Xiaoyao had been nurturing his injuries. In fact, relying on his strong physical body and blood qi, coupled with the divine spirit indestructible technique, etc., Jun Xiaoyao would be able to fully recover in no time. However, in order to avoid arousing suspicion, Jun Xiaoyao still slowly recovered. In addition, Luo Xiangling had been taking care of Jun Xiaoyao. To be served by such a beauty was a top-notch treatment that was hard to come by for ordinary people. After all, who was qualified to be served by a pseudo-immortal rank expert? That was simply impossible. That was just wishful thinking. Even martial emperors could not easily make quasi-emperors submit and order them around like servants. Perhaps in the face of love, no matter how strong a woman was, she was still just a woman. And during this period of time, the entire foreign territory was also filled with news related to Jun Xiaoyao. He was someone who could shake the world in the immortal domain and was revered by countless people. He could even enjoy the attention of tens of thousands of people in the other side, tens of thousands of gazes filled with respect. Jun Xiaoyao was probably the only one capable of such a feat throughout the ages. Meanwhile, the entire foreign land was in an uproar because of Jun Xiaoyao's deeds. In one of the 10 great foreign provinces, the demonic barbarian Great Province, a big piece of news spread out. The matchmaking convention of the 5 Tushan princesses was about to be held. This news immediately swept through the 10 great provinces. Although there was news before, the time was not confirmed. Now, it was completely confirmed that it would be held in 3 months. This was undoubtedly a big piece of news, causing many young creatures in the foreign land to be extremely excited and eager to give it a try. After all, everyone was an old pervert. Moreover, this time it was not just a beauty, but a total of 5. This was 5 times the joy. Of course, many people knew their own limit. The 5 princesses of Tushan had noble statuses and were even more picky. Not to mention being favored by all 5 princesses. To be able to make one of them take a second look, one was definitely a dragon or phoenix among men, 1 in 10,000. As for being favored by all 5 of them, there should not be such a person in the foreign land. Because if they said it out loud, they would be beaten. As the news spread out, many geniuses were making preparations. For a matchmaking convention of this level, geniuses below the royal family did not even have the qualifications to participate. Even the royal family geniuses were only going to watch the show. After all, how could the princesses of the royal family easily take a fancy to the royal family geniuses? Only the geniuses of the top royal family and above were qualified to fight for and win their favor. Hey! Do you think Lord War God will participate in the matchmaking convention? I heard that the 2 princesses of Tushan, Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun, are closer to Lord War God. With Lord War God's talent and strength, It's definitely more than enough to marry a princess. Do you think the 5 of them will? That's absolutely impossible. Even Lord War God can't do it. Let's not talk about the other princesses first. How picky are they? Even Tushan won't agree easily, right? Even if they agree, can Lord War God bear it? I heard that the Tushan Fox clan's desires are quite. Many people were also discussing Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun were indeed very close to Jun Xiaoyao. That's interesting. After all, there are many geniuses who have their eyes on the Tushan 5 beauties, such as the Scarlet Owl clan. That Qi Hongyu is quite persistent. He didn't have the right to pursue the Tushan princess before, but now he's reached the top. It's all because of that ancestor of his clan. Otherwise, how could it be possible? This matchmaking convention will definitely be very interesting. Many geniuses were looking forward to it. Even if they knew that they couldn't win the favor of the Tushan 5 beauties, it was still good to watch the show. The Great Barbarian Continent. As the name suggested, it was a place where many demon races lived. Apart from the Tushan clan, there were many other races living here. For example, the Evil Dragon clan, the Fallen Demonic Phoenix clan, the Exotic Taoist clan, the Snake clan, and other races all lived here. Apart from that, there was another clan. It was the Scarlet Owl clan. Previously, the Scarlet Owl clan was only one of the top 10 royal clans. However, because of the ancestor of their clan, the Scarlet Owl clan's king, broke through and became an immortal king. Therefore, their clan ascended and became a quasi-emperor clan. All of a sudden, their status and reputation rose. More importantly, the Scarlet Owl King had once fought with the Immortal Region's white-robed divine king, Jun Wuhui, who guarded the border. This caused the clan's reputation to soar, and they were even catching up with some of the emperor clans. Currently, the Scarlet Owl clan had a high status and a strong sense of existence in the demonic barbarian continent. At this moment, in the depths of the Scarlet Owl clan's ancestral land, a handsome man dressed in crimson golden armor with crimson wings on his back and a head of crimson hair that resembled flames slowly stepped out. Flames lingered around his body, condensing into various crimson-colored demonic birds that resembled crows. It was his true form, the Scarlet Owl bird, an ominous bird that was born in a fire. He was also one of the leading figures of the younger generation of the Scarlet Owl clan, Qi Hongyu. His younger brother was Qi Lingkong, who was killed by Jun Xiaoyao in the world of divine ruins. Previously, Qi Hongyu had been in seclusion, becoming the last disciple of the Scarlet Owl King and receiving training. Now, he had come out of seclusion, and his cultivation level was also at the supreme stage. In the Boundary Emperor clans, it was rare to see a supreme stage young prodigy. From this, one could see Qi Hongyu's talent and how much the Scarlet Owl King valued him. The matchmaking convention has begun. Qi Hongyu looked into the distance with his hands behind his back. He had come out of seclusion after hearing the news. I've already comprehended a profound change in the soul book, mastered the ancestral skill, and reached the supreme stage. I even have the Immortal King as my master. Now, do I have the right to ask for her hand in marriage? Qi Hongyu muttered to himself with a cold look in his eyes. Previously, he had gone to Tushan to ask for her hand in marriage, but he was humiliated in return. That was because he was not powerful enough at that time, and he only had a top-tier royal clan behind him. When he went to ask for her hand in marriage, he was rejected at the door without even seeing the faces of the 5 princesses of Tushan. That could be said to be an eternal humiliation in Qi Hongyu's heart. However, he had undergone a qualitative transformation now, and he even had the Scarlet Owl King as his master and backer. Even the Immortal Emperor clans would treat the Immortal Kings with respect and would not offend them easily. Qi Hongyu was filled with confidence. 5 Tushan beauties, you ignored me back then. Now, I'm going to defeat all my opponents in the matchmaking convention and completely conquer you. Chapter 10-12. Chi Hongyu had made up his mind to perform well at the matchmaking convention. Let the Tushan 5 beauties see him in a different light. He felt that he already had the ability to do so. Of course, Chi Hongyu was not the only one who had his eyes on the Tushan 5 beauties. The other quasi-emperor clans and monarch clans all had prodigies making preparations. Some of the monarch clans were even close to the ultimate monarch clans. The prodigies of those monarch clans were obviously very powerful. There were even rumors that a few of the 7 minor emperors would also appear at the matchmaking convention to watch the ceremony. For a time, the great demonic and barbarian continent became the most eye-catching place among the 10 great continents of the foreign territory. Many prodigies from the entire great demonic and barbarian continent also entered one after another. However, there was one place that was still rarely visited. It was a place called the Fiend Tomb. It was a rather famous, dangerous, forbidden area in the great demonic and barbarian continent. In fact, almost every great continent of the foreign territory had more or less 1 or 2 such forbidden areas. For example, the Heavenly Tomb in the great continent of Heavenly Tomb. The Heavenly Barrier and Blood Abyss in the great demonic Abyss continent were the same. It was rumored that this Fiend Tomb had once sealed a peerless demon. Many powerful cultivators had come here to investigate, but in the end they all died. Therefore, many opportunities were left behind, and it became a treasure land. And now, in the region of the demon sealing tomb, a figure that should not have appeared there had appeared. It was a handsome young man with slightly dark skin. It was Yun Xiaohe. After leaving Tushan Wanwan, he did not return to Tushan. Because without Tushan Wanwan, he did not even have the right to step into Tushan. There must be some kind of secret in my body. I want to uncover it. I want to let Miss Wanwan know that I am not weaker than that chaos body. Yun Xiaohe gritted his teeth and muttered to himself. He had also experienced countless dangers all the way from the Styx River continent to the great demonic and barbarian continent. But he had overcome them one by one. Because Yun Xiaohe had an obsession in his heart. He couldn't watch the goddess who had saved him become another man's plaything. God knew that during his time in the Ares Academy, he sent Tushan Wanwan to Jun Xiaoyao's residence every day. That feeling was simply heart-wrenching. It was as if he had become a cuckold, although he was just a groom beside Tushan Wanwan. As Yun Xiaohe went deeper into the demon-sealing grave, the more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was calling out to him. Come back quickly. There were all kinds of dangers in the fiend-sealing tomb. They were either strange incomplete arrays or dangerous demonic creatures. But the strange thing was, Yun Xiaohe bypassed those strange broken formations under the guidance of the unseen forces. As for those demonic creatures, there were even supremes among them. However, when they saw Yun Xiaohe, they either fled in panic or bowed down while trembling, not daring to offend him at all. Yun Xiaohe's face lit up. I am indeed the chosen one. Yun Xiaohe clenched his fists in excitement. He seemed to have already seen Tushan Wanwan looking at him with surprise and admiration. Tushan Wanwan was a warrior, and she liked strong men. So far, Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who had completely conquered her. Thinking of this, Yun Xiaohe's eyes turned cold. He continued to go deeper. A few days later, he really entered the depths of the fiend-sealing grave. There was a large tomb with an entrance. This was already an extremely deep place. Yun Xiaohe entered it. He found that there were many murals in it. Yun Xiaohe saw one of the murals. It was a large group of foxes worshipping a black fox standing on the peak of a mountain. And behind that black fox there were 10 tails. Yun Xiaohe was shocked. Wasn't the black fox the lowest and most humble race among the Tushan fox clan? They had always been discriminated against by the other fox clans. And what was with these 10 tails? Among the Tushan fox clan, the noblest bloodline was only the 9-tailed one. For a moment, Yun Xiaohe's breathing quickened. He found that the black fox's eyes were very similar to the pair of fox eyes that contained the power of destruction in his subconscious. Those eyes of destruction were staring at him. Yun Xiaohe also found that the birthmark on his abdomen began to burn. It seemed to be a hexagonal mark. Yun Xiaohe suppressed the excitement in his heart and went deep into the tomb. Finally, he saw it. In the deepest part of the tomb, there was a huge black fox statue, and in the mouth of the black fox statue, there was a pitch-black wheel. There were patterns engraved on it that looked like 10 fox tails. An unparalleled power was surging. Boom! The pitch-black wheel released endless black light of destruction. Yun Xiaohe was instantly drowned. He felt as if his body was being disintegrated. Every cell was being injected with energy. At the same time, in his consciousness, the pair of fox eyes that were filled with the destructive demonic intent appeared again. This time, it fully manifested. It was a black fox that was completely black, branded with destructive demonic patterns, and had 10 tails on its back. The 10 tails seemed to cover the sky and were extremely vast. Who are you? Yun Xiaohe asked. Who am I? Haha, the 10-tailed black fox spoke in human language. I am you. Boom. In an instant, Yun Xiaohe and the 10-tailed black fox looked at each other. All kinds of memories flooded into his mind. The 10-tailed black fox of destruction. The taboo existence of the bloodline mutation of the Tushan fox race. One of the former 6 kings of destruction. It controlled the forbidden weapon of destruction, the 10-tailed sky plate. I'm the 10-tailed black fox of destruction? Yun Xiaohe himself found it unbelievable. Those were the 6 kings of destruction in Doomsday Myth. And he was just a lowly and insignificant person. It was absolutely difficult to connect the two. But now, fate was like this. After a brief moment of daze, Yun Xiaohe was ecstatic. He could feel that his bloodline strength was awakening. His strength was soaring with every breath. This was not a power that he cultivated, but a power that belonged to him stored in the 10-tailed sky plate. Haha, that's great. Now I'm finally worthy of Miss Wanwan. Yun Xiaohe roared excitedly. No, not just that. With my identity and bloodline power, not to mention one, even 5 of them together is not impossible. Yun Xiaohe's eyes lit up. Once a person had strength, they would start to inflate. The lower their identity, the more inflated they would be. Yun Xiaohe was a typical example. He did not want only Tushan Wanwan. He wanted all 5 of them. Rumble. The entire fiend sealing tomb was shaking. Then, a ray of black light suddenly shot into the sky and turned into a black hexagram mark. Many of the foreign creatures noticed this. That's a dark hexagram. Another king of annihilation has awakened? Could it be that in this era, the 6 kings of destruction in Doomsday Myths will all appear? A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. The dark hexagram appeared again, stirring up monstrous waves. Hurry up and find him. We must find this king of destruction, a monarch race figure shouted. On the other side, in the demon abyss state, the forbidden land of eternity, under the heavenly barrier blood abyss. In a stone coffin, a hazy blood mist was surging, and a beautiful figure could be vaguely seen within it. 5th king, that fox has also awakened. It's time to go out for a walk. 1st king, I'll be able to see you soon. This charming and beautiful figure let out a bone-chilling laugh. On her full chest, a black hexagram mark was incomparably clear and deep. Chapter 10:13. The dark hexagram illuminated the heavens, representing the awakening of another world destruction king. This undoubtedly stirred up great waves in the foreign realm again. Many people believed that the great era had arrived, that the 6 kings would all appear. The Doomsday legend would truly descend, become reality. In the previous great eras, even though there had been world destruction kings who appeared before. However, there had never been 6. There would always be a few missing. And now, in this great era, 3 darkness kings awakened one after another. This was undoubtedly the omen of the Doomsday Legend's complete descent. This really is interesting. The Great Era is about to descend, so it's time to go out and move around, show off my presence. A figure flew out from one of the monarch tribes. His entire body was shrouded in golden radiance, as if a young deity was walking in the mortal world. When someone saw this figure, they couldn't help but cry out in surprise. That is Unland's Emperor Clan's prince, even he has come out. Many people were shocked. Unlan Emperor Clan, one of the foreign realm's famous immortal emperor clans. Their clan's immortal king, Unlan, with an Unlan spear, his name shook the eternal spacetime. Prince Unlan was also one of the foreign realm's 7 small emperors. Previously, he had always been sleeping and cultivating. Now that he woke up, it was as if a young deity had appeared in the world, his radiance resplendent. On the other side, in an emperor clan's ancestral land, in an expanse of heavenly flowers, golden lotuses surging from the ground, a woman appeared, dressed in a lush green long dress. Behind her was a large tree that towered into the sky, swaying with dandelion-like seeds. That was shockingly a demonic cattail tree. Meanwhile, the woman was precisely the demonic cattail clan's Pu-Kue heavenly girl. She was also one of the 7 small emperors. I wonder if that primal chaos realm will participate in the matchmaking assembly. We still need to handle our relationship with him properly. After all, even his followers are world destruction kings. There's also Prince Mo Jia. It really is tragic, actually ending in such a manner. Pu-Kue heavenly girl was muttering. Previously, Pu Yao and Jun Xiaoyao had a conflict, and he was casually killed by Jun Xiaoyao in Desolate Border. Even though Pu Yao was the pride of heaven in the demonic cattail clan, he wasn't the core. Thus, the demonic cattail clan didn't need to completely offend Jun Xiaoyao for a single Pu Yao. Even the 7 small emperors appeared, heading to demonic and barbarian great provinces matchmaking assembly. The entire foreign territory's atmosphere became fiery hot. Meanwhile, at Two Mountain at the center, however, it was very calm. However, the entire Tushan Mountain was decorated with lanterns and streamers to prepare for the matchmaking convention. At this moment, in a pavilion on the peak of Tushan Mountain, 2 peerless figures stood there. One of the women was wearing a long dress with flowing sleeves. Her figure was slender and light, as flawless as a jade carving. Her eyebrows were curved, her beautiful eyes were clear, and her nose was straight. Her skin was as white as snow, delicate and flawless. She was the 3rd princess of Tushan Xiaoxiao. And by her side, a woman with an extremely domineering figure stood there. Even though she was dressed in a bright red robe, it was difficult to conceal her curvaceous and hot figure. It could be said to be plump and juicy. Her face was charming, and she was so charming that all living beings were enchanting. It was the Tushan first princess, Tushan Ye. Some parts of her body were also worthy of the title of first princess. If Jun Xiaoyao were here, he would definitely sigh. Compared to the snake men, who were known for their figures, this one was definitely not inferior. At this moment, Tushan Ye picked up the wine gourd hanging at her waist and took a big gulp, looking like a big sister. Did you feel that when the 6-pointed star mark appeared, there was a strange feeling? Tushan Ye said. There was a slight movement in the bloodline, but what does this have to do with the World Destroyer King? Tushan Xiaoxiao was confused. Tushan Ye shook her head slightly and said, "Let's not talk about this for now. By the way, are those 2 girls still angry?" "Yes, it's all because you called them back. Otherwise, they could have stayed with the man of their dreams for a while longer." Tushan Xiaoxiao pursed her lips and smiled. Chaotic body Yu Xiaoyao. His performance at the Desolate Border this time was indeed shocking. Even I am a little interested. Tushan Ye licked her red lips with her tongue. Big sister is famous for being picky, Tushan Xiaoxiao said. However, this Yu Xiaoyao reminds me of someone who is about to be forgotten, Tushan Ye said. The son of God of the immortal regions Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao, Tushan Xiaoxiao said. Their names were indeed similar. However, they clearly did not think that this chaotic body had anything to do with Jun Xiaoyao. Apart from the fact that their names were similar, there was no other connection between the two. Let's wait and see if we can find a good husband in this matchmaking convention. After all, our cultivation of the immortal art of love and dream has not improved for a long time. Tushan Yeye sighed softly. The immortal art of love and dream of the Tushan Fox clan required them to find the destined person who could pull the red string of marriage. Therefore, it was extremely troublesome and difficult to cultivate. Big sister, I have always had a question, Tushan Xiaoxiao said. What question? If, and I am saying if, our red string of marriage is tied to the same man, what should we do? Although the probability was minuscule, it did not mean that it was impossible. If that's the case, I won't be modest. You don't have to be modest either. When the time comes, we sisters will be of the same mind. Tushan Yeye giggled. Her smile was extremely charming, and her red lips glowed with a seductive luster. To the Tushan Fox clan, human morals and ethics were nothing at all. Of course, the premise was that such a man really appeared and could pull their red string of marriage. Otherwise, they would not have taken a fancy to the same man at the same time. Tushan Xiaoxiao blinked her clear and beautiful eyes. Was she planning to eat up everything and leave nothing behind? Big sister had been single for so long, and her needs were still strong. Just as the entire foreign land was bustling with noise and excitement because of the Tushan matchmaking convention. Styx River State, Aries Academy's side. In the depths of the purple bamboo forest, there was a secluded courtyard. Luo Xiangling sat beside the bed in the inner room, looking at the man in white lying on the bed. Her eyebrows were like ink, her skin was like snow, and her eyes were like autumn water. Her azure hair was as smooth as water, pouring down to her delicate butt. Looking from afar, she was as bright as the sun rising in the morning. Looking closely, she was as bright as the waves of a lotus flower. Just by sitting there, she was like an extremely beautiful painting. During this period of time, she kept staring at Jun Xiaoyao, afraid that something would happen to him. But fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao's injuries were recovering very smoothly. Luo Xiangling looked at Jun Xiaoyao's hazy and handsome face, and her eyes were a little absent-minded. How many years had she been single for? She couldn't remember at all. To her, love and love in the human world were all things that were extremely distant from her. She was indeed a high and mighty quasi-immortal king, but she was also very pure. She had always stayed in Aries Academy and almost never came into contact with anyone. But Jun Xiaoyao's appearance caused a ripple in her heart that had been silent for a long time. Looking at him, Luo Xiangling couldn't help but reach out her jade-like hand and gently stroke the outline of Jun Xiaoyao's cheek. Suddenly, a hand covered her jade-like hand. In the next moment, Luo Xiangling met a pair of eyes that had opened their eyelid. A pair of eyes that were like the night stars gazed deeply at her. Xiangling, sneak attacks are wrong. Luo Xiangling was slightly startled. She was a little uneasy, and her beautiful dimples were indescribably beautiful. Chapter 10:14. She didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao would suddenly wake up. And it was such a coincidence. Luo Xiangling wanted to withdraw her hand, but Jun Xiaoyao held it tightly. You're awake, Luo Xiangling said. Her long eyelashes drooped slightly. She didn't dare to look at Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. What's wrong with me? Luo Xiangling couldn't believe her own expression. She was a high and mighty quasi-immortal, the Luo King of Aries Academy. And Jun Xiaoyao was only a Zhizun. The difference between the two was like heaven and earth. However, her heart suddenly skipped a beat. If other quasi-immortals were here, they would definitely be stunned. The Luo King, who was usually as cold as water, actually had such a girly attitude. It would simply refresh their understanding. Xiangling, have you been taking care of me these days? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Luo Xiangling. Her jade hands were soft as if they were boneless, extremely smooth and tender. Only Jun Xiaoyao had touched them. As for that poor foofing of Gojoseon, he didn't even get within 3 feet of Luo Xiangling. It's good that you're fine. I'm relieved. Luo Xiangling calmed her emotions. After all, she was a quasi-immortal, so she still had this bit of control. She didn't want to show her shy and timid appearance in front of Jun Xiaoyao. That would be a bit too embarrassing. Thank you. Jun Xiaoyao stood up, his tone sincere. It wasn't all an act. There was still a bit of sincerity in it. Luo Xiangling was indeed very good to him. Although Jun Xiaoyao's original intention was to find a backer, to hug Luo Xiangling's thigh. But now that things had developed to this point, it seemed that Luo Xiangling was really falling into it. He couldn't stop acting even if he wanted to. Can you let go first? Luo Xiangling's voice was as soft as a mosquito. Although there was no one else here, Luo Xiangling still felt a little shy. Oh, I'm sorry. Jun Xiaoyao loosened his grip. There was a moment of silence between the two. By the way, my injuries? Jun Xiaoyao deliberately asked. It's the Ares Academy's dragon vein, Lu Xiangling said. It's fused into your body. I see. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He could feel that the foreign dragon vein was being suppressed into his body, nourishing his body. After Jun Xiaoyao, he would bring the foreign dragon vein into the innerverse. In his inner universe, there was still the immortal origin ancestral meridian that he had obtained from the world of divine ruins. This way, the immortal origin ancestral vein and the foreign domain dragon vein were all absorbed into Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe. His inner universe had sufficient spiritual energy and could flourish and develop even more vigorously. It was also very beneficial to his own cultivation. You're really amazing. You've made amazing military achievements in the desolate border. Later, the Academy will hold a conferring banquet for you, Luo Xiangling said. It's just some small achievements. Compared to making contributions in the desolate border and shaking the world with my name, I'd rather stay in Xiangling's bamboo grove, discussing the Tao and drinking tea every day. Isn't that wonderful? Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Luo Xiangling smiled, and her eyes revealed a touch of joy that even she herself didn't notice. She liked having Jun Xiaoyao by her side. Then, Luo Xiangling seemed to have thought of something, and her expression became a little more serious. Xiaoyao, tell me, is the foofing of Gojoseon behind Prince Higan and the others? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed slightly. It seemed that Luo Xiangling had also noticed. He hesitated for a moment and didn't say anything. Tell me, is it true? If it's true, I'll have to remind him. Otherwise, I'll have to ask the Shanao of Beach to give him a warning. Luo Xiangling's tone was rarely solemn. Obviously, she was very concerned about this matter. Jun Xiaoyao also knew that the Shanao of Beach was the immortal king who made the move. However, he shook his head slightly and said, I know it might be the foofing of Gojoseon, but there's no need to find him. Why? Luo Xiangling didn't understand. Because I don't want to implicate you for my sake. No matter what, the foofing of Gojoseon is, after all, a quasi-immortal. His status is the same as yours. If you offend him, you'll be in trouble. You like quiet and don't like noise. I don't want you to be disturbed because of me. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was calm and sincere. Luo Xiangling was slightly stunned when she heard this. Jun Xiaoyao was too considerate of her, wasn't he? In order to not disturb her peace, he didn't mind at all even if he was being targeted and hostile. Which woman could resist this kind of care and gentleness? It could only be said that Jun Xiaoyao's acting skills and flirting skills had reached the peak of perfection. Don't even talk about tricking Luo Xiangling, a woman who looked strong but had a pure heart. Even those mature women with deep experience and extraordinary vision would be seduced to the point of no return. Seeing Luo Xiangling blushing unconsciously, Jun Xiaoyao was slightly stunned. Luo Wang, this beautiful old auntie, blushing was also a little cute. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes dimmed. Suddenly, he stepped forward and gently hugged Luo Xiangling. Luo Xiangling was completely stunned. Her originally soft and supple body was now extremely stiff and rigid. Only the heavens knew that this was the first time she was so close to someone and hugging each other since she gained consciousness. She couldn't think at all. She just let Jun Xiaoyao hug her in a daze. Her quasi-immortal level strength seemed to have disappeared without a trace. She couldn't summon any strength at all. At this moment, she was like a real little woman. Jun Xiaoyao moved his mouth close to Luo Xiangling's white ear and said softly, "I know that during this period of time, Xiangling, you must have put in a lot of effort to heal my injuries. In addition, I also know that you have your own past and secret. I won't force you to tell me. But if you need to talk and share one day, I will be a listener." These gentle words made Luo Xiangling's bones go soft. She did have her own past and secrets that she had never told anyone. Jun Xiaoyao was very smart. He knew this, but he didn't mind her hiding it and didn't force her to say it. This gentleness, this understanding. What man could do that? Luo Xiangling only responded softly, still letting Jun Xiaoyao hug her. The atmosphere was a little ambiguous. Jun Xiaoyao even suspected that if he were to push her down just like that. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao didn't do that. How much courage did it take to push down a quasi-immortal level existence? The most important thing was, there was still someone in Jun Xiaoyao's heart that he couldn't let go of. Someone was still worried about him in the immortal region. Jun Xiaoyao let go of his arm. Luo Xiangling lost her support and suddenly felt a sense of emptiness in her heart, but she didn't show it. "Alright, did anything happen in the foreign domain recently?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. "Another king of destruction has awakened," Luo Xiangling said. "Oh." Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. "Could it be that little horse driver? If so, then it would be interesting. In addition, Tushan seems to be holding some kind of matchmaking convention," Luo Xiangling said. "Matchmaking convention." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Previously, Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun had also told him that they wanted him to go. At this moment, the long-awaited mechanical voice of the system sounded in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. "Ding! Congratulations to the host, the new check-in location has been refreshed. Please sign in at the Tushan Matchmaking Convention." Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. What kind of treasure could he sign in at a place like the Matchmaking Convention? Chapter 10-15. In fact, Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel anything about this matchmaking convention. He wasn't interested in the 5 princesses of Tushan either. His only plan was to see if he could meet Qi Hongyu at the convention. He wanted to find a way to snatch his soul book. Now, since he had activated the check-in, Jun Xiaoyao had to attend the convention even more. "Why, Xiaoyao, are you interested in this?" Luo Xiangling said when she noticed the slight change in Jun Xiaoyao's expression. Her sparkling eyes stared at Jun Xiaoyao. Obviously, she misunderstood Jun Xiaoyao's reaction and thought that he had some thoughts about the matchmaking convention. "I can join in the fun at this matchmaking convention," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Xiaoyao, are you interested in those foxes?" Luo Xiangling's tone had a trace of inexplicable bitterness. Her expression was extremely cute. Coupled with Luo Xiangling's supreme status as the Luo king, there was a strange kind of cuteness in contrast. "What if I say yes?" Jun Xiaoyao looked at Luo Xiangling and suddenly had the thought of teasing her. If outsiders saw Jun Xiaoyao teasing the Luo king like this, their eyes would most likely pop out. "Are all men like this?" Or, "I'm not as beautiful as them." Luo Xiangling's last sentence was very soft and only she could hear it. Looking at Luo Xiangling's expression, Jun Xiaoyao smiled. "Don't worry, I'm just going to join in the fun. Xiangling, can you come along?" "You can go if you want. You don't have to drag me along." Luo Xiangling lowered her eyelashes. Indeed, what was her relationship with Jun Xiaoyao now? Even if Jun Xiaoyao participated in the matchmaking convention and married the princess of Tushan, it would be natural. That was to be expected. She had no reason to interfere, right? However, Luo Xiangling's heart was filled with jealousy and jealousy. Looking at the subtle changes in Luo Xiangling, he seemed to be worried about personal gains and losses. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly thought, did he overdo it and make Luo Xiangling too immersed in the role? After that, the news of Jun Xiaoyao waking up spread throughout the Ares Academy. The entire Ares Academy was in an uproar. Some of the students of the academy worshipped him as if he were a god. After all, this was someone who had survived under the hands of a great emperor. Many people wanted to meet Jun Xiaoyao, but they were all rejected. Jun Xiaoyao stayed in Luo Xiangling's residence, enjoying the peace and quiet. It didn't take long for the Ares Academy to hold a celebratory banquet for Jun Xiaoyao's conferment. Apart from the few bloodlines of the Emperor clan that they had enmity with, almost most of the Emperor clans sent people to congratulate and send gifts. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's identity was too extraordinary now. There was no need to talk about his talent and identity. He also had the support of the Shanao of Beach, the Luo King, and others from the Ares Academy. There was also a mysterious immortal standing behind him. Of course, that was the evil spirit of the gods in disguise. Only Jun Xiaoyao himself knew. Now, Jun Xiaoyao was among the younger generation of the foreign territory. He was already an absolute top existence that no one dared to provoke. Jun Xiaoyao liked peace and quiet, so he didn't attend the banquet. But no one criticized him, nor did they think that Jun Xiaoyao was acting like a big shot. Instead, they thought that this was in line with the identity of a war god. In the small residence in the purple bamboo forest, Jun Xiaoyao let the little divine demon ant out of the inner universe for some fresh air. Big brother, you actually cultivated an inner universe, and there are so many good things inside, right? The divine demon ant stared at Jun Xiaoyao with a face full of shock. Not to mention that he had created such a huge inner universe at the supreme level. Little E was completely stunned by the treasures inside. The world tree, the celestial tree, the spring of life, the immortal source ancestral vein, the foreign dragon vein, the treasures in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe made even a descendant of a great emperor like Little E exclaim in admiration. That's nothing. Now that we're in the foreign territory, I can only wrong you for the time being and tell others that you're my captive, Jun Xiaoyao said. Is this the foreign territory? The little divine demon ant observed its surroundings. It could also feel that the foreign territory's laws were extremely different from the celestial realm. Jun Xiaoyao let the little divine demon ant explore on its own. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly felt something. It was as if there were many voices surrounding his ears. All kinds of prayers, begging, and sacrifices. What's going on? Jun Xiaoyao carefully investigated. He discovered that the source of the voices was the seed of faith in the inner universe. Jun Xiaoyao hadn't paid attention to the seed of faith for a long time, allowing it to develop on its own. But now, the seed of faith was actually twice as big as before. On the surface, the myriad spirit patterns appeared. There was even a faint heartbeat coming from the seed of faith. It was like a heart or an embryo. Interesting. Jun Xiaoyao discovered that this 9-star reward wasn't that simple. Those begging prayers spread out from the endless light spots around the seed of faith. That was the power of faith of all living beings. After not carefully investigating for a while, there were actually so many more. They were densely packed like stars in the sky. Even Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. Wasn't Tuoba you working too hard? It seems that he's in trouble. Hearing those prayers, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Tuoba Yu was a chess piece that he had casually placed when he first came to the foreign territory. Tuoba Yu spread his faith among the slaves. Fei Qingxue spread her faith among the royal family. But now, it seemed that Tuoba Yu had encountered a lot of trouble. This could be seen from the despairing prayers. Jun Xiaoyao had previously signed in for the ability to illuminate the heavens, but his current cultivation base wasn't enough to project it into the heavens, so he could only make a trip there in person. It's time to lay my cards on the table. I'd like to see who dares to obstruct me from obtaining the power of faith. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a cold light. He had a hunch that this seed of faith would definitely give him a great surprise in the future and become an important help to him. Therefore, the expansion of the Church of Destiny couldn't be stopped. Literally, do you want to go out for a walk? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Sure, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will be victorious. I want to carefully understand the situation in the foreign territory. The little divine demon ant nodded repeatedly. By the way, call Xiangling too. Jun Xiaoyao thought. Although his status was high enough, his strength wasn't considered top-notch in the foreign territory, so he still needed to call Luo Xiangling. He immediately went to find Luo Xiangling. What? Let's go out for a walk together? Luo Xiangling was obviously very surprised. That's right, Xiangling, you seem to be an otaku. It's boring to stay in your own residence all the time. Why don't you accompany me for a walk? Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Otaku? Luo Xiangling obviously didn't understand the meaning of this word. However, her face secretly turned red. Was this considered going out on a date? A few days later, Jun Xiaoyao wore a ghost mask and left Ares Academy with Luo Xiangling. It wasn't that Jun Xiaoyao was deliberately keeping a low profile. It was that he was too famous in the foreign territory now. If he didn't hide it, he would be surrounded wherever he went. There was no way he could do anything at all. And just after Jun Xiaoyao and the others set off, in the state of Heavenly Tomb, a mighty and bloody battle erupted. This battle originated from a lowly slave race called the Black Skin Race. And now, the Union of Destiny formed by thousands of slave races in the state of Heavenly Tomb. They were being bloodily suppressed by some royal families. Chapter 1016. On the vast plains of the state of Heavenly Tomb, the setting sun was as red as blood. Looking around, countless corpses were piled up on the plains, forming mountains of corpses. The blood that flowed out gathered into a river of blood that meandered through the mountains of corpses. This was a true mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. It was hard to imagine how many living beings had died on this endless plain. It was definitely more than 1,000,000. At this moment, in a core area of the plain, countless living beings had set up camp here. Looking around, there were the Bloodbone race, the Goblin race, the Oddball race, and the Birdman race. They were all slave races with low status. However, upon closer inspection, the strength of these slave races was not weak. There were many void gods, true gods, heavenly gods, and so on. Although their cultivation did not seem very high, it was indeed very rare for the slave races. Moreover, it was not just one or two who had such cultivation, but most of them. There were more than 1,000 slave races stationed here, and more than 1,000,000 living beings added up. This had indeed formed a force that could not be ignored. At this moment, in the core area, there was a 10,000-foot-tall tower. This was a sacrificial tower. Under the tower, a large group of people were gathered together. They were the patriarchs and leaders of the various races. In the center of the crowd stood a young man with muscular arms and a thin waist. He had a well-built body, slightly tanned skin, and a determined face. It was Tuoba Yu of the Black Skin race. Compared to before, the current him was tall and slender, and his eyes were as bright as stars. His body was also emitting an extremely powerful fluctuation. He was a sacred lord. This was a little shocking. One had to know that before this, Tuoba Yu was a nameless junior. The Sacred Lord realm was a realm that he would find difficult to reach in his lifetime. However, in less than a year, Tuoba Yu had broken through to the Sacred Lord realm. The most important thing was naturally that Jun Xiaoyao had given Tuoba Yu 1,000th of his cultivation talent. In addition, there was also the Tao Heart demonic seed art. Tuoba Yu was the first to obtain the Tao Heart demonic seed art and spread it. The benefits he could obtain were the greatest. Therefore, with the support of these two factors, Tuoba Yu could reach such a terrifying cultivation speed. Of course, he was a sacred lord. Jun Xiaoyao would have been able to kill Tuoba Yu countless times with just a single thought. Not only him, Jun Xiaoyao could control the life and death of any living being who cultivated the Tao Heart demonic seed art with a single thought. Unless the person's cultivation was much stronger than Jun Xiaoyao's. During this period of time, Tuoba Yu was also loyal and devoted, wholeheartedly preaching. Because it was the god of fate and creation who had changed his fate, he naturally believed in him fervently. In less than a year, hundreds of thousands of slaves in the heavenly tomb state responded to his call and rebelled. The enslaved races of the other continents were also echoing the call. Tuoba Yu was put on a pedestal. He became the leader of the liberation of the slave race. He was known as the holy hero by all the slave. Most people would definitely become complacent upon receiving such prestige and status. However, Tuoba Yu didn't, because he knew who had bestowed all of this upon him. Now, Tuoba Yu and the leaders of the various slave races were gathered together for an extremely important meeting. Lord Holy Hero, we can't go on like this. We're no match for the 5 royal tribes. That's right. The 5 royal tribes have mystic venerables and creation supremacies suppressing the rear. We can't win at all. Now that we've suffered heavy casualties, it's like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The patriarchs and leaders of these slave races were chattering away. Previously, Tuoba Yu's expansion had been going smoothly. Because they were the lowliest slave races, they didn't attract much attention. In fact, the high and mighty boundary emperor clans and even emperor clans didn't care about their slave race alliance at all until now. It was like ants. Even if they formed a colony, to humans it was just a matter of raising a foot and stomping them to death. Therefore, the boundary emperor clans and immortal emperor clans didn't care about the slave races at all. Even the royal tribes generally didn't care. As for the remaining general tribes, they weren't invincible opponents to the slaves who cultivated the Tao Heart demonic seed art. Therefore, Tuoba Yu's journey had been very smooth. However, recently, the 5 royal tribes had suddenly joined forces to attack the alliance of fate of the slave races. When the royal tribes made a move, it was extraordinary. Even if it was a race ranked at the bottom of the 100 royal tribes, the slave races couldn't resist. Moreover, it wasn't just one royal tribe, but 5 royal tribes joining forces. This was a huge blow to the alliance of fate of the slave races led by Tuoba Yu. The two sides weren't in the same dimension at all. It was a blow to the lower dimension. Now, even the leaders of the slave races were a little panicked. Enough. Quiet down first. What's with all this noise? Tuoba Yu frowned and shouted in a low voice. Everyone quieted down. Although Tuoba Yu wasn't very old, as a sage, he already had great prestige among the slave races. He could be said to be above everyone. This matter isn't that simple. Why did the 5 royal tribes suddenly join forces to attack us? Tuoba Yu said. Could there be other reasons? The leader of the goblin race probed. If I'm not wrong, there's someone behind the 5 royal tribes, Tuoba Yu said in a low voice. What? This conjecture shocked the various clan leaders present. Because to them, the royal family was already a godlike existence. Who else could stand behind the royal tribes and order them around? Could it be a quasi-emperor tribe or a true emperor tribe? The leader of the strange Lan race said with a pale face. This made all the leaders present tremble, and their faces were as pale as paper. Not to mention the immortal emperor tribes. Even the quasi-emperor tribes were like gods to the slave races. Heavens, there's an emperor tribe targeting us. Some of the leaders were trembling in fear. That was a high and mighty emperor tribe. They could easily destroy a royal tribe with a single sentence. Dealing with them was easier than stepping on ants. I'm not sure yet, but there's definitely a big shot behind the scenes. Tuoba Yu also felt very troubled. That's right, the 5 royal tribes said that they'll give us 7 days to surrender. Perhaps we'll have a chance to live. At this time, some people who were innately obsequious appeared. Enough. Is that what you're thinking? Beside Tuoba Yu, a beautiful woman with wheat-colored skin and a slim figure shouted coldly. She was Tuoba Yu's sister, Tuobalan. But we can't deal with them at all. Many of the leaders had bitter expressions. At this time, Tuoba Yu said, I believe that the God of fate and creation will not abandon us. Next, we'll hold a prayer ceremony and sincerely pray that the God of fate and creation will help us through this difficult time. Tuoba Yu was the first chess piece that Jun Xiaoyao tricked. He was also the most fervent believer. When faced with such a difficult problem, Tuoba Yu's first thought was to pray to the God of fate and creation. Chapter 10:17. This, hearing Tuoba Yu's words, some patriarchs looked at each other and were silent. Although most of the slaves were devout believers in the God of fate and creation. However, some patriarchs knew that the so-called God might be a slightly more powerful person. Now they were facing the Emperor clan. In their eyes, the Emperor clan was already a godlike existence. Could the illusory God they believed in really help them? Seeing the reaction of some patriarchs, Tuoba Yu's face immediately darkened. What, you don't believe that the God can help us through this difficult time? Do you still remember the first restriction of the Alliance of Fate? Yes, we must always believe in the God of fate and creation and praise his name devoutly. All the patriarchs lowered their heads and cupped their hands. It's good that you know. Go quickly, Tuoba Yu said. Soon, the grand sacrificial ceremony began. Millions of enslaved creatures surrounded the sacrificial tower. They were prostrating themselves in worship. At the same time, many slaves in the other continents were also praying and prostrating themselves on the ground. Because Tuoba Yu was the source of this uprising. If they failed, the other uprisings would naturally die out. These enslaved creatures didn't notice. Their devout faith spread out through the sacrificial tower, turning into an invisible torrent of light spots. It poured into the seed of faith in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe. Just at about the same time, on the other side of the plains of the Tomb State, there was also an army stationed there. It was the army of the 5 royal families. They were very few in number, only about 200,000 in total. They were far from being comparable to the slaves. However, not only were they well equipped, but their cultivation was also not weak. Most importantly, they had many top powerhouses. There were even mystique, venerable and divine venerable powerhouses guarding the rear. This was not a war. It was a massacre. In the center of the camp, in the void, there was an incomparably luxurious and huge ship. Just by looking at this ship, one could tell that this was definitely not something that the royal family could possess. At this moment, in the ship, the carved beams and painted rafters were rich in spirit energy, as dense as mist. In the depths there was a throne. On the throne sat a man. He wore a loose robe, and his skin was as pale as marble. His facial features were very handsome, and his eyes were completely black without any white. They were like 2 black holes, bottomless and without a trace of light. His hair was also very long, hanging down to the ground. His entire person had a very unique and outstanding temperament. Below him stood several figures. There was also a seductive woman in a blood-red dress who was leaning against the man on the throne and feeding him spirit fruits. She was the Blood Spirit Saintess of the Blood Spirit Royal family. The Blood Spirit Royal clan was one of the 5 royal clans. It was conceivable that he could make a saintess serve as his maid. This man's identity and status could be imagined. His background was definitely not small. It's still the Emperor's benevolence that gave those slaves 7 days to consider. If it were me, I would have directly annihilated them all. A muscular man with iron-like muscles and blood-red demonic patterns all over his body said. One of his arms was shaped like a blade. It was incomparably sharp. He was a prodigy of the blade-armed Shura clan and one of the prodigies of the 5 royal clans. As for the man on the throne that he addressed as Emperor's son, he chuckled and said indifferently, "With so many creatures, it will take some time to deal with them. This Emperor's son is going to Tushan's matchmaking convention later, so I don't have time to waste here. I need to complete the refinement of my god-devouring ring." As the man spoke, he raised his hand, and a ring appeared in his hand. It was like a black hole that could devour all creatures. When the surrounding prodigies saw this, they all felt a chill run down their spines and hurriedly lowered their heads, because they knew that this man was not a kind person. He was the god-devouring emperor's son of the god-devouring clan, one of the 7 minor emperors of the foreign realm. The god-devouring clan was rare. Its main body was the extremely rare god-devouring bug. In the ancient era, this clan was known to be able to devour gods. It was one of the few species that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the divine demonic ant, 10 transformations celestial silkworm, archaic emperor butterfly, and other divine insects. This clan was almost extinct in the celestial realm. However, in the foreign realm, they continued to exist and formed the god-devouring clan. And this clan's innate ability was their terrifying devouring power. There were even some king physiques and divine physiques that had been devoured by the god-devouring bugs. This showed how domineering the devouring power of this clan was. And this was also the reason why this emperor's son could become one of the foreign realm's 7 minor emperors. If he wanted to improve his divine weapon, the god-devouring ring, he had to devour all creatures. And it just so happened that the slave race rebelled, and in his eyes, millions of creatures were resources to refine his divine weapon. With his identity as the emperor's son, he could casually call the 5 royal bloodlines to fight for him. "What, are you afraid that this emperor's son will devour you?" Looking at the prodigies who lowered their heads and trembled slightly, the emperor's son sneered. "Of course not." A prodigy braced himself and said, but he was actually extremely afraid. This emperor's son had devoured many prodigies before. What he liked the most was to devour prodigies with special bloodlines and physique. "Don't worry, this emperor's son is not interested in you. As long as you help me kill those slaves and refine the god-devouring ring, you will be rewarded." "Thank you, emperor's son." All the prodigies cupped their hands. The blood spirit saintess said as she massaged the emperor's son's shoulders. "By the way, emperor's son, I heard that those slaves worship a god called the god of fate and creation. Also, their cultivation base has skyrocketed. It seems to have something to do with that god's technique." Hearing this, the emperor's son shook his head and sneered. "The god of fate and creation? What a joke! Who has the audacity to say that they represent fate and creation? I think it's just some quack trying to trick them. When the time comes, we'll kill them all and see if that god they worship will come to save them." The emperor's son did not care at all. It was one thing to be a quack, but to use fate and creation as their names, was that a name that ordinary people could come up with? "Once I refine the god-devouring ring, I'll go to the matchmaking convention and see if I can marry 1 or 2 beautiful concubines. That war god chaotic body is really coveted. If I can devour it, I'll definitely become the strongest prodigy in the foreign realm. Unfortunately, it's too difficult to provoke." For the god-devouring bug, the fastest way to evolve was to devour all kinds of bloodlines and physique. The chaotic body was undoubtedly the most precious tonic. Even a single drop of chaos blood was worth far more than the millions of lives of the slave clan. Unfortunately, the emperor's son could only think about it for the time being. He was not qualified to kill the chaotic body yet. 7 days passed quickly. With the emperor's son behind them, the 5 royal families' army began to surge toward the base of the Alliance of Fate. After praying for 7 days, the slaves were also ready to fight to the death. Just as the war was about to break out, Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling appeared in a teleportation array in the heavenly tomb state. Jun Xiaoyao could control Tuoba Yu and immediately found some information. The 5 royal families are besieging us. So there's someone behind them. Let me see who has the guts to obstruct my plan. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep and cold as he looked at the vast battlefield in the distance. Chapter 10:18. On the vast, desolate plains of the state of Heavenly Tomb, a shocking battle was about to erupt. Looking around, there were densely packed creatures all over the ground like a colony of ants. On the side of the 5 royal families, there weren't many creatures, only 200,000 or so. However, there was a cruel sneer on each of their faces. It was a cruel expression of seeing prey. To them, this battle was nothing more than a massacre. As for the alliance of fate of the slave clans, although the number of creatures was dozens of times more than the 5 royal families' army, however, many living beings were nervous and worried. Even the patriarchs of the various clans were as pale as paper, feeling uneasy. At first glance, it looked like the alliance of fate's army had surrounded the 5 royal families' army. However, it was actually the 5 royal families' army that had surrounded the alliance of fate's army. This was because the battle strength of both sides was not on the same level at all. On the side of the 5 royal families, 5 figures appeared in the air. They were the prodigies of the 5 royal families. Among them was the blood spirit saintess. She glanced at the alliance of fate's army with a hint of ridicule and disdain in her eyes. In her eyes, the millions of slave clans were just fish on the chopping board. However, she still shouted coldly, "Where is your saint? Where is he? Tell him to come out." On the side of the alliance of fate, Tuoba Yu, Tuoba Lan, and the others walked out. Tuoba Yu looked at the 5 royal families' army with a frown. 7 days. Have you considered it? The blood spirit saintess said indifferently. That's impossible. Tuoba Yu said resolutely. He had vaguely guessed it. Even if they surrendered, they probably wouldn't have a good ending. Sigh, it seems that the Emperor's kindness is unnecessary. The blood spirit saintess sighed slightly. I told you earlier to just kill them all. The blade-armed Shura clan prodigy snorted coldly, overflowing with killing intent. Hearing their words, Tuoba Yu and some of the patriarch's pupils constricted slightly. Emperor? They knew very well what this title meant. It was the title of the top prodigies of the immortal emperor race. The big shot behind the 5 royal families was actually an emperor. This caused the expressions of the slave clan's patriarchs to change drastically. In their eyes, the immortal emperor clans were no different from gods. Seeing the reaction of this group of people, a mocking smile appeared in the eyes of the blood spirit saintess. You'd rather die than submit, but that doesn't mean others are the same. Now I'll give you a chance. The saintess of blood spirit smiled charmingly. He looked like he was watching a show. One had to admit that they did have some tricks up their sleeve. Even at the critical juncture of the war, he did not forget to sow discord. Tuoba Yu didn't say anything. It was a good opportunity for him to test who was absolutely loyal to the god of fate and creation, and who was fishing in troubled waters. All of a sudden, the Odd Mist Tribe's patriarch shouted, "I'm willing to surrender." Patriarch Qilan Yu. Tuoba Lan's beautiful eyes widened in anger. Sister, don't say any more. Tuoba Yu waved his hand and coldly stared at Patriarch Qilan. He led the entire Mystic Mist clan to surrender. Obviously, this was something that had been discussed beforehand. My Birdman race is also willing to surrender. Another chief shouted. Subsequently, the leaders of the slave clans successively surrendered. In the end, there were hundreds of slave clans and millions of slave clans that surrendered. All of a sudden, the strength of the alliance of fate was severely weakened again. Interesting. Your so-called faith is too fragile. What god of fate and creation? Now it seems that you're really a clown. The saintess of blood spirit mocked without hiding her ridicule. Gods cannot be insulted. Tuoba Yu raised his eyebrows and a cold light burst out from his eyes. It was the god of fate and creation who changed his fate. It allowed him to grow from a slave clan youth to the current holy hero that was revered by tens of thousands of people. He would not allow anyone to insult the god of fate and creation. Kill. Tuoba, you ordered. The remaining slave clan army roared and rushed out. Their faith was firm and unshakable, even surpassing life and death, so they were not afraid at all. Ridiculous ants, a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The Emperor's mission must be completed. The Saintess of Blood Spirit narrowed her beautiful eyes. As long as she could please the God-devourer Emperor's son, even if it was just becoming a concubine. For her, it was a great benefit. The entire Blood Spirit royal family could benefit because of this. The alliance army of the 5 royal clans also made their move. They were mighty. Although their numbers were not as good as the slave clan alliance, their battle strength was shocking. Very soon, it was only a few rounds of charging and killing. More than 100,000 people from the slave clan were killed or injured. Many slave clan creatures were wailing as they fell into pools of blood. The mystic venerables and divine venerables of the royal clan had yet to make their move. Otherwise, the casualties would be even more terrifying. From the looks of it, the battle can be resolved in less than a day. The Blade Arm Azura clan prodigy sneered. When all the slave clan creatures here were killed, the God-devourer Emperor's son could use the blood energy of thousands of resentful spirits to refine his divine weapon, the God-devourer ring. Once the matter is done, our 5 royal clans can all ascend. The young prodigy of the Blue Ghost royal clan revealed a cruel smile. In their opinion, the only value of these millions of creatures was to let their clans ascend. As the battle progressed, hundreds of thousands of slave clan creatures had already fallen. A sorrowful atmosphere filled the air. Great God of fate and creation, please save us. Great God, I pray to you. Behind them, some old, weak women and children of the slave clan were praying with red eyes. Their husbands and sons were lying in pools of blood. The eyes of the slave clan creatures were filled with despair. Why is it like this? Tuoba Land's beautiful eyes were filled with tears. She was incomparably sorrowful. It was not easy for them to establish the alliance of fate. Was it going to fall apart just like that? Tuoba Yu also clenched his fists tightly. Although he had the cultivation of a sacred lord. But in the face of a battle of this level, he was still helpless. Not to mention the true big shots of the royal clan. The mystic venerables and divine venerables had yet to make their move. There was an even more terrifying emperor-level figure behind them. Right now, Tuoba Yu had no other good ideas other than praying to the god of fate and creation. Just as the entire battle was about to turn into a one-sided massacre. Suddenly, 2 figures tore through the void and walked out. One of them had a ghost mask on his face and was dressed in white. The other was dressed in a smoky long dress with a veil covering her face. It was Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling. The reason Luo Xiangling had a veil covering her face was because she was too beautiful. Wherever she went, she would attract attention. Therefore, she wore a veil to block out the gaze. Stop. An indifferent voice came out of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth. It was as if there was a strange magic that poured into people's minds. The entire battlefield instantly quieted down. The eyes of the Blood Spirit Saintess and the others immediately fell on Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling. The 2 of them restrained their laws and did not leak out the slightest bit of aura. You are? The Blood Spirit Saintess and the other royal clan prodigies frowned slightly. Jun Xiaoyao did not look at them immediately. Instead, he looked at the traitors who had betrayed the alliance of fate and brandished their blades at their own people. Traitors are more disgusting than enemies. Jun Xiaoyao slowly raised his hand and then snapped his fingers. Pucci, the traitors of the Strange Mist clan, the Birdman clan, and the other traitors added up to millions of lives. In an instant, their bodies exploded and turned into ashes. This move instantly caused the entire battlefield to fall into a deathly silence. Chapter 10-19. What did they see? More than 1 million living beings. With a snap of his fingers, they turned into ashes. Even if these living beings were the most lowly slave race, they wouldn't be so fragile. Even if an utmost powerful being were to make a move, it would still take a few moves before he could kill all of them. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao snapped his fingers and killed 1,000,000 living beings on the spot. This scene deeply shocked all the living beings present. Even the living beings on the 5 royal families' side had never seen such a terrifying method. All of them were dumbstruck, and their pupils constricted. It was as if a basin of cold water had been poured down from the top of their heads. It was bone-chilling. The blood spirit saintess and the others also gasped, and their scalps went numb. Although they also regarded these slave races as ants, they never thought that they could kill 1,000,000 living beings with a snap of their fingers. What kind of earth-shattering method was this? In the face of the shock of the outsiders, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even blink when he killed 1,000,000 living beings with a snap of his fingers. As long as he cultivated the Tao Heart demonic seed art, life and death were just between his thoughts. A snap of his fingers was unnecessary. On the side, Luo Xiangling was also a little surprised. She glanced at Jun Xiaoyao. At first, she thought that she was on a date with Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, when she came here, she knew. She had been used as a tool. However, Luo Xiangling didn't mind. She was still a little happy to be able to help Jun Xiaoyao. "Who are you? What do you want to do?" The blood spirit saintess's expression became solemn. These slaves were the materials used by the God-Devourer Emperor's son to refine the God-Devourer ring. Now that they had lost 1,000,000, it would be terrible if they couldn't complete the mission. However, the masked man in front of her was indeed a little strange. She couldn't detect any aura at all. However, the blood spirit saintess's expression was still calm. Behind her stood Mystic Venerable, a supreme expert at the divine venerable level. At the very least, she still had the God-Devourer Emperor's son to support her. In this foreign land, unless a big shot from the ultimate Emperor clan appeared. Otherwise, no one would provoke the God-Devourer Emperor's son. Most of the ultimate monarch tribe's living beings stayed in the Avacania lands. They wouldn't casually come to the 10 great states. You are targeting my people. Why do you still need to ask me?" Jun Xiaoyao laughed. These words caused the bodies of Tuobayu, Tuobalan and the rest to tremble upon hearing them. "Your people." The blood spirit saintess was even more confused. "I am the divine envoy of the god of fate and creation." Jun Xiaoyao directly revealed his identity. Now, he no longer needed to hide in the dark. With his status and influence, the spread of faith would be even more widespread. "What? So that's the case." Tuobayu was so excited that his pupils were trembling. "I knew that Lord God wouldn't abandon us. I'm Tuobayu. Greetings, God Emissary." Tuobayu knelt down on one knee before Jun Xiaoyao. He wasn't being impulsive. Instead, it was the method that Jun Xiaoyao had used to instantly wipe out 1,000,000 traitors. Only those who were related to the gods of fate and creation could use it. "Greetings, God Emissary." Tuobalan also bowed. The rest of the slaves, after being stunned for a moment, also knelt down. When they were on the verge of despair, a glimmer of light appeared. There was no doubt that Jun Xiaoyao was their salvation. Looking at the millions of creatures who knelt on the ground in an instant, Jun Xiaoyao was very satisfied. Fishing in troubled waters, the traitors with disloyalty had already been screened out and killed. The rest of the people were definitely people who held a devout heart of faith. Such creatures were worthy of him personally coming to rescue. On the contrary, on the slave's side, the blood spirit saintess and the others couldn't help but sneer. Interesting. I didn't expect the god of grass to have a divine envoy." The blood spirit saintess was really laughing very happily. The other royal prodigies also laughed out loud. Beside Jun Xiaoyao, Luo Xiangling saw this scene and blinked slightly. If the blood spirit saintess knew the identity of the person she was laughing at, she would probably be so scared that she would pee her skirt, right? However, since Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything, she wouldn't say anything either. On the other side, after the blade-armed Shura prodigy finished laughing, a hint of killing intent flashed across his eyes. Don't waste the Emperor's time. Kill him directly. The genius of the blade-armed Ashura clan made his move right away, bringing his blade-like arm down on Jun Xiaoyao. The blood-red blade light cut through the sky. His cultivation was at the peak of the Sacred Lord realm. Be careful, God Emissary. Tuoba Yu and the others couldn't help but change their expressions. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't move at all. He didn't even move his fingers. Only a ray of light was cast over. The power of his primordial spirit flowed in his eyes, as if it had turned into 100 lives of tribulation. The divine ability of the past primordial spirit of the 3 lives, the reincarnation tribulation. This was the primordial spirit technique that Jun Xiaoyao had comprehended in the Black Abyss Reincarnation Sea. Because of this, he had experienced 100 lives of karma with Ling Yen. The reincarnation tribulation could let the enemy's soul experience the reincarnation tribulation. If one's will was not strong enough, their primordial spirit might even collapse. What is this? The blade-armed Shura prodigy suddenly stopped. Then, a crazy look appeared in his eyes. In just a few short breaths, splat! The blade-armed Shura prodigy's entire head exploded like a watermelon. Red and white matter splattered everywhere, and his primordial spirit was also destroyed. This time, everyone was stunned. This wasn't some minor character, but a peak Holy Lord powerhouse. As expected of the god emissary. Seeing this, Tuoba Yu was even more determined. Only the divine envoys of the god of fate and creation had such an ability to kill with a single glance. The blood spirit Saintus also felt a little creeped out. A snap of his fingers could kill millions of living beings, and a gaze could kill a peak sacred lord. What kind of ability was this? Most importantly, her cultivation was only at the Sacred Lord realm. Didn't that mean that the masked man opposite her could easily kill her? Thinking of this, the blood spirit Saintus felt a chill in her heart. She hurriedly turned her head and said, "Seniors, please attack." In the depths of the void behind the army, several figures appeared, bringing with them a terrifying nomological pressure. They were the Mystique Venerables and Godly Venerables of the 5 royal families. Supreme Mystique Venerables and Creation Divine Venerables were definitely top-notch figures, even in the Immortal Emperor families. In the royal families, they were like patriarchs and leaders. At this moment, 2 Creation Divine Venerables and 4 Supreme Mystique Venerables appeared. Who dares to ruin the Emperor's plans? A Supreme Mystique Venerate shouted coldly with an arrogant attitude. He directly slapped toward Jun Xiaoyao. The sky trembled, and the void was destroyed like paper. Just the power of a Mystique Venerate was enough to shake the world. God Emissary! On the slave race's side, countless living beings trembled and prayed. Jun Xiaoyao still did not move. Luo Xiangling, who was at the side, also flashed with indifferent killing intent in her watery eyes. Her personality was not bad, even a little pure. However, it was only limited to those who could enter her heart, which was Jun Xiaoyao. As for the other living beings, Luo Xiangling returned to her cold indifference as a pseudo-immortal. Now, she saw that someone was trying to harm Jun Xiaoyao. Luo Xiangling naturally would not remain indifferent. She reached out her hand, and her 5 slender fingers grabbed toward the void. In an instant, the space around that Supreme Mystique Venerate began to shrink as if it was collapsing. That Supreme Mystique Venerate was completely wrapped in it. His physical body was crushed, and even his primordial spirit could not escape. Luo Xiangling did not hold back. Her pseudo-immortal aura completely erupted. Like a supreme goddess, her fine black hair danced in the wind, and her aura shook the world. Before the other Mystique Venerables and Godly Venerables could change their expressions, the terrifying pseudo-immortal level law emerged in the void and turned into a mighty long river of law. Those mystique venerables and godly venerables were directly swept into the long river of laws. Their physical bodies and primordial spirits were crushed. No matter how they struggled, no matter how strong their supreme laws were, they could not resist, let alone escape. In just a short moment, the mystique venerables and godly venerables of the 5 royal families had all fallen. At this moment, dead silence covered the world, and the space seemed to have frozen. The blood spirit saintess and the others trembled so much that their souls seemed to be about to split open. Chapter 10:20. Supreme Mystic Master, Creation Hierarch. They were the top warriors of the royal family, ancestor level. But now, in just a short moment, they were all dead. It was like a mute switch was pressed between heaven and earth. There were clearly millions of living beings present, but no one made a sound. Blood Spirit Saintess was so shocked that her scalp was about to explode. It was like every blood vessel was about to explode. The aura emitted by the unbelievably beautiful woman with a veil on her face. Although it wasn't as powerful as the Immortal King, it wasn't far off. Quasi-immortal? Blood Spirit Saintess' teeth were chattering, her face was pale and bloodless. This wasn't like kicking an iron board, but a diamond drill. That aura, could it be a quasi-immortal? God, the woman beside Sir Messenger is a quasi-immortal. The slave races were in an uproar. Tuobayu took a deep breath, his face was filled with ecstasy. He originally thought that the performance of this Sir Messenger was already amazing enough. But the woman beside him was a quasi-immortal. A quasi-immortal followed him and attacked. Just 2 words. Impressive. This Sir Messenger, his background is too big. A quasi-immortal followed him and protected him. Tuobaland's beautiful eyes were wide open. This simply refreshed her worldview. You. Who are you? Blood Spirit Saintess was about to collapse. They just killed some lowly slave races. How did they provoke such a terrifying Buddha? Who I am isn't important. What's important is, how are you going to explain this? Jun Xiaoyao slightly tilted his head, his tone was playful. He looked at Blood Spirit Saintess. Just like how Blood Spirit Saintess looked at those slave races. Cold, emotionless, and superior. Blood Spirit Saintess was extremely uncomfortable. She was a saintess of the royal family, when had she been looked down upon like this? But thinking that she still had a backer, she immediately calmed down. Quasi-immortal was terrifying. But facing the immortal emperor race, they should at least give some face, right? The one behind me is the God-Eater Prince of the God-Eater clan. The saintess of the blood spirit race said calmly. We, the 5 royal bloodlines, followed his orders to encircle and annihilate these slave races. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly understood. No wonder these royal families would target the slave races when they had nothing better to do. It turned out that he was following orders. God Devourer Emperor's son. Jun Xiaoyao murmured. He had heard of it before. This was one of the foreign side's 7 little emperors. The true form of the God-Eater clan was an immemorial devil insect that was nearly extinct in the immortal domain, the God-Eater insect. This was one of the divine insects that was on par with the God-Fiend ant and the 10 transformations celestial silkworm. Moreover, it possessed a tyrannical devouring power. Devouring power. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. He did not forget that he still had a wisp of devouring immortal qi. The devouring immortal qi was refined by his devouring god demonic technique. Jun Xiaoyao had already reached the Supreme Being realm. If he wanted to advance further, he would have to break through his realm. That was to condense even more supreme laws. The God Devourer Emperor's son had already condensed the devouring law. If Jun Xiaoyao could obtain the devouring law from the God Devourer Emperor's son, he could comprehend and refine it. Not only could he quickly condense the devouring law, but he could also improve his devouring god demonic technique and integrate the characteristics of the God-Eater insect. By then, Jun Xiaoyao could freely control the devouring power. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's silence, the blood spirit saintess mistakenly thought that he was afraid. She could not help but say faintly, "Since you already know who's behind me, you can leave now." The blood spirit saintess was not stupid. After all, there were quasi-immortal level existences on the other side. She could not ridicule them brainlessly. It was enough as long as they could leave. As for the fallen mystique venerables and hierarch venerables, that was not something a saintess like her could interfere with. No need. The master is already here. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly and looked into the distance. A huge ship came crashing down from the sky. It was the God-Devourer Emperor's ship. He was originally at the back, waiting for the 5 royal families to finish their battle before coming to harvest the fruits of their labor. However, he sensed a quasi-immortal level aura erupting. This surprised the God-Devourer Emperor's son, so he came to check it out. "May I know which senior is releasing this aura?" "I'm the God-Devourer Emperor's son from the God-Devourer clan. I hope senior can give me face." Inside the ship, a handsome man dressed in a loose robe with black hair that reached his ankles slowly walked out. His eyes were like 2 miniature black holes. They were so deep that they could not see the bottom. It was as if they could even suck in one's soul. It was the God-Devourer Emperor's son. He looked at Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling with surprise in his pitch-black eyes. He sensed a dangerous aura. "God-Devourer Emperor's son, who gave you the courage to touch my people?" Jun Xiaoyao did not hold back. Even if the God-Devourer Emperor's son took a step back, he would not hold back. This was a big gift to condense the law. How could he let it go? Jun Xiaoyao's attitude made the God-Devourer Emperor's son frown. "Sir, who are you to talk to me in such a tone? Do you have the right to do so?" The God-Devourer Emperor's son's tone had a hint of gunpowder. The blood spirit saintess, on the other hand, looked like she was watching a show. With the God-Devourer Emperor's son around, she seemed to have found her backbone. Her expression was no longer flustered, and her heart was no longer in a mess. "Do you think I have the right to do so?" Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and took off the mask on his face. At the same time, the chaotic mist lingered around his body. Wisps of chaotic pressure collapsed the void. Numerous spatial cracks appeared. A supreme aura covered the entire place. "Chaotic aura you are." There was no need to look at Jun Xiaoyao's face. As long as one saw the chaotic aura and the supreme aura, his identity was as clear as day. "You have the chaotic body." The God-Devourer Emperor's son's eyes were faintly shocked. Jun Xiaoyao's identity was really beyond his expectations. When the blood spirit saintess heard this, her mind buzzed as if 100,000 thunderbolts were rumbling. He is the war god of my world's younger generation, the chaotic body?" The blood spirit saintess was a little confused, completely unable to recover from her shock. The chaotic body was something she had always admired and looked forward to. Jun Xiaoyao's battle record in the desolate border was killing more than 10 immortal domains seed prodigies by himself. He had even survived under the hands of a great emperor. This could be called a legendary deed, which made the blood spirit saintess yearn for it. However, she knew that her identity as the saintess of the royal family was as lowly as dust compared to Jun Xiaoyao. It was not worth mentioning. But now, the person she had mocked was actually the person she admired the most in her heart. This made the blood spirit saintess somewhat unable to believe and accept. This is all a misunderstanding, I don't know." The blood spirit saintess was at a loss and wanted to explain. Jun Xiaoyao did not say anything and simply looked at him with a faint gaze. "No, don't." The blood spirit saintess turned pale with fright and turned to seek the protection of the God-Devourer Emperor. "Emperor, save me!" the blood spirit saintess shouted. However, the God-Devourer Emperor's expression was indifferent, and his gaze did not fall on her at all. The blood spirit saintess's face was full of despair and regret. Only then did she realize that she had always been a dispensable abandoned pawn. In the next moment, the blood spirit saintess's head exploded, and she died. Chapter 10:21. It wasn't just the blood spirit saintess, but also the prodigies of the other royal families. Their heads exploded one by one, and they died. Jun Xiaoyao naturally didn't have the slightest bit of pity for these people. They watched as the royal prodigies, who had been high and mighty and looked down on them like ants, died one after another. There was no need to mention just how pleased these enslaved beings were. As for Jun Xiaoyao's background, they were also very clear. This was because Jun Xiaoyao was simply too famous in the foreign realm during this period of time. It could be said that he was as famous as some of the ultimate monarch race beings in the unspeakable lands. Even the lowly creatures of the slave race. They all knew that an unparalleled chaotic physique had appeared in their realm. The first heaven-defying figure to obtain a chance of survival in the hands of a great emperor as a supreme. Even to Oba, you didn't expect this divine emissary to have such a powerful background. Divine emissary is actually that chaos war god. Tuoba Yu was so excited that his pupils trembled. The god of fate and creation was indeed heaven-defying. Even a random divine emissary had an unparalleled chaotic physique. I didn't expect divine emissary's true identity to be that unparalleled war god. Tuoba Land's beautiful eyes were also full of splendor. At this moment, the faith in the hearts of all the slaves became even more unwavering. In an instant, Jun Xiaoyao sensed that in his inner universe, the power of faith had increased by a large amount, and it had become even purer than before. The corners of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth curled up slightly. This was the reason why he was willing to come here personally to rescue them. Otherwise, Jun Xiaoyao couldn't be bothered to care about the lives of those slaves. Looking at the fallen blood spirit saintess and the others, the god-devourer prince didn't even blink. These royal creatures were just laborers that he had casually called over. If they died, they died. It had nothing to do with him. Since this person has a chaotic physique, then she should be the Luo King of the Ares Academy. The god-devourer prince looked at Luo Xiangling. His expression became extremely solemn. He knew that he had caused a lot of trouble today. Damn it, why would such a person come here and stand up for these slaves? The god-devourer prince couldn't understand. However, on the surface, he still put on a fake smile. I was wondering who it was. So it's the recently famous war god. You hurt my men. How do you want to settle this? Jun Xiaoyao went straight to the point. What? The great Lord Battle God is related to these lowly slave races? The god-devourer prince asked calmly. So what if they're slaves? Aren't the lives of slaves their own lives? Besides, I'm the god's messenger of the god of fate and creation. I should care about their suffering. Jun Xiaoyao spoke in a righteous manner. Sir Envoy. The eyes of Tuoba Yu, Tuoba Lan, and the patriarchs of the various tribes turned red. That high and mighty war god who even emperor clans had to bow down before actually cared for them like this. At this moment, the millions of enslaved beings were filled with devotion and worship toward Jun Xiaoyao and the god of creation. Jun Xiaoyao's acting skills could even make a quasi-immortal like Luo Xiangling fall for him. Not to mention deceiving these enslaved beings. However, Jun Xiaoyao did save their lives, so it wasn't a complete lie. What you said, the god-devourer prince instinctively felt that something was wrong. This god who came out of nowhere actually had a god's messenger? And it was the famous Chaos War god? Just thinking about it made him feel that it was ridiculous and unbelievable. The god-devourer prince even vaguely felt that he was being cheated. He said vigilantly, in that case, for the sake of you and the Luo King, I'll spare those slaves. Compared to refining the god-devourer ring, Jun Xiaoyao and the Luo King were even more untouchable. With that, the god-devourer prince turned to leave. Wait! Jun Xiaoyao's voice rang out. Do you have anything else to say? The god-devourer prince said coldly. You want to leave after killing my men? Isn't that too easy? Jun Xiaoyao said. The God Devourer Prince was his resource. The Devourer immortal Qi in Jun Xiaoyao's body was still stirring. How could he let this leak leave? Enough. Do you want to become my enemy for these lowly slaves? The God Devourer Prince's supreme aura also erupted. He was afraid of Jun Xiaoyao, but it didn't mean that he was a coward. As a Arch-Prince and one of the 7 lesser Thearchs, did he not care about his reputation? Let me deal with him. Suddenly, a childish voice rang out. Oh! The God Devourer Prince's eyes focused. In front of Jun Xiaoyao, a purple gold ant about the size of a pinky appeared. Its body was golden, as if it was made of divine marks and purple gold. It was extremely dazzling. This is a God-fiend ant. The God Devourer Prince's eyes glowed with a terrifying light beam. The God-fiend ant and the God Devourer bug were supreme bug races that had been passed down since the primordial era. There were even ancient legends that recorded them. If these supreme bug races of the primordial era devoured each other in the end, there might be a peerless bug emperor. The God-fiend ant, God Devourer bug, 10 transformations celestial silkworm, archaic emperor butterfly, crack demonic butterfly, and skydream butterfly were all primordial mutants and qualified to participate in this battle. Of course, this was only a legend and had not been proven. Now, seeing this God-fiend ant, the God Devourer Prince's eyes glowed coldly. Although he coveted the chaos body, he knew that it couldn't devour him. However, if he could devour the God-fiend ant, it would be greatly beneficial to the God Devourer Prince. The little God-fiend ant was also filled with battle intent. Opposite him was the God Devourer bug of the primordial bug race. If he could defeat him and refine his power, it would be greatly beneficial to the little God-fiend ant. The God-fiend ant is a creature of the immortal region. You! The God Devourer Prince looked at Jun Xiaoyao. He's a battle servant that I subdued in the wilderness. Is there a problem? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Cut the crap. God Devourer bug, I'm going to suppress you. The little God-fiend ant shouted and attacked. Its small fist seemed to have the terrifying power to destroy the 9 heavens imperial court. The God-fiend's strength superpower was unleashed. How dare you! The God Devourer Prince's face darkened. Jun Xiaoyao said that the God-fiend ant was his battle servant. Now, the battle servant was attacking him. Didn't that mean that he, the God Devourer Prince, was only qualified to fight with Jun Xiaoyao's battle servant? The God Devourer Prince's eyes were cold as he raised his hand and attacked. A dark beam of light shot out, annihilating everything around it. This was the God Devourer bug's special devouring ability. The 2 primordial divine bugs collided, creating a shockwave. Although the little God-fiend ant's body was small, it was full of vitality and directly formed the God-fiend ant Dharma form. A huge blood-red ant appeared in the void with enough power to destroy the sky. The God Devourer Prince also used his most powerful move. Behind him, the Supreme Law formed a black hole that seemed to be able to devour everything. The battle between the 2 divine bugs was extremely intense. What made the God Devourer Prince's expression turn ugly was he couldn't suppress the little God-fiend ant. Of course, the little God-fiend ant couldn't suppress him either. This was a humiliation to the God Devourer Prince. After all, the little God-fiend ant was only Jun Xiaoyao's battle servant. And he was one of the 7 lesser emperors. Watching this battle, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. He suddenly had an idea. Could the little God-fiend ant devour other primordial bugs in the future and transform into the eternal bug empress? It wasn't impossible. But now, let's end all of this, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. He directly struck out with his hand. The chaotic giant palm formed, and with the God-fiend's strength superpower, it smashed toward the God Devourer Prince. Chapter 10:22. You Xiaoyao you! The God Devourer Crown Prince roared when he saw Jun Xiaoyao's chaos palm coming at him. To his surprise, he realized something. Jun Xiaoyao was also using the divine demonic ant's great strength art. And it was even more terrifying than the divine demonic ants. Rumble. His 5 fingers were like pillars that supported the heavens. Chaotic mist lingered around them, and even the lines on his palm could be seen clearly. They were like the patterns of the stars. The God-Devourer Crown Prince summoned his natal divine weapon, the God-Devourer Ring. The pitch-black ring was as eerie as a black hole, releasing a terrifying devouring power. Then, there was a loud bang. The void collapsed. The God-Devourer Ring was sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao's palm. His chaos palm didn't slow down and wrapped around the God-Devourer Crown Prince. Refine. Jun Xiaoyao secretly activated the God-Devourer demonic art, and a terrifying devouring power erupted. He wanted to strip the law of Devourer from the God-Devourer Crown Prince's body. How can this be? This devouring power? The God-Devourer Crown Prince couldn't believe it. This devouring power wasn't any weaker than his own Devourer Grand Art. He couldn't understand how Jun Xiaoyao could control this kind of devouring power. No, he's not just trying to suppress me. He's trying to strip the law of Devourer from me. The God-Devourer Crown Prince wasn't stupid. He immediately figured it out. As a God-Devourer insect, he naturally formed the law of Devourer to become a supreme. What Jun Xiaoyao was doing right now was undoubtedly an attempt to take advantage of him. You Xiaoyao, do you really dare to kill me? The God-Devourer Crown Prince shouted. He didn't bring a guardian with him because he was going to the matchmaking convention. Plus, with his identity, no one in the foreign realm dared to provoke him. But now, the God-Devourer Crown Prince didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to be so audacious as to kill him. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent, but his eyes revealed a hint of mockery. Isn't it too late to realize this now? Jun Xiaoyao didn't hold back in the slightest. These 7 minor emperors would be a threat to the immortal realm after they grew up. If he could get rid of one, he would kill one. Not to mention the fact that he still needed the law of devouring from the God-Devourer Prince's body. There was no way he would let him go. Arg! The God-Devourer Crown Prince roared angrily and revealed. A terrifying black demonic insect with a mouth like a black hole appeared. Devourer insect's true form. Jun Xiaoyao activated his devouring power and chaotic power, enveloping the Prince of the God-Devourer and refining him in a frenzy. The God-Devourer Crown Prince screamed. He originally Devourer Crown Princes. Devourer s Devourer. Devourer Crown Devourer. He couldn't Devourer. Soon, the devouring law within the Prince of God-Devourer's body was stripped away and absorbed by Jun Xiaoyao. The Devourer origins. Jun Xiaoyao had killed one of the 7 minor emperors, Crown Prince Mo Jie, when he was at the quasi-supreme stage. Now that Jun Xiaoyao had broken through to the supremacy stage, he naturally didn't need to spend too much effort to kill the God-Devourer Crown Prince. Jun Xiaoyao took out the Daluo sword embryo and slashed at the God-Devourer ring. The God-Devourer ring, which had consumed a lot of energy, was directly sucked dry by the Daluo sword embryo. The world fell silent. Tuoba Yu and the others were even more shocked to the extreme. In their eyes, the immortal Emperor Crown Prince was high and mighty like a god. He was easily killed by Jun Xiaoyao. This kind of impact deeply shocked their souls. Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent in the face of countless fanatical and admiring gazes. Killing the Crown Prince was a small matter to him. Little Divine Demon Ant said, the God-Devourer insect's corpse. Although Jun Xiaoyao had absorbed the law of Devourer in the God-Devourer Crown Prince's body, but the corpse itself was still very attractive to Little Divine Demon Ant. These primordial godworms had a bloodline innate instinct to devour each other. Just like raising venomous insects, the one that survived after devouring would become the queen bug. Here, Jun Xiaoyao threw the God-Devourer insect's body to Little Divine Demon Ant. The Little Divine Demon Ant happily accepted it. Refining the corpses of various primordial godworms was very beneficial to it. On the other side, the beings of the 5 royal families were all stunned. The god-devourer crown prince was gone just like that? Just thinking about it made their hearts turn cold. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the 5 royal families. We were all ordered by the god-devourer crown prince. Please forgive us, Lord War God. A blood spirit royal heavenly venerate stepped forward and cupped his hands. He was clearly a great heavenly venerate, but he bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. Of course, Luo Xiangling was also part of the reason. Jun Xiaoyao sized up the 5 royal families. He didn't intend to kill them all. It wasn't because he was merciful. Instead, it was because the 5 royal bloodlines were all like green leek. They were the best followers. Jun Xiaoyao's current Church of Destiny had only infiltrated the Ice Spirit royal family. The power of faith provided by the royal family was much more than that of the slave race. It's not impossible to spare your lives, but I want your loyalty and submission, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. This is the fortune of our clan. The powerhouses of the 5 royal families all nodded without hesitation. Their 5 royal bloodlines were considered to be at the bottom of the 100 great royal bloodlines. Otherwise, they wouldn't have become the god-devourer crown prince's lackeys. Moreover, Luo Xiangling had already killed all the top powerhouses of the 5 royal families. Now, the strength of the 5 royal families was even weaker. Even if they didn't follow Jun Xiaoyao, they were very likely to be eliminated or even fall from the ranks of the royal families. Jun Xiaoyao was now like the sun in the sky in the foreign realm. Behind him were the Shanao of Beech, the Luo King, the mysterious immortal, and other top powerhouses. Following him would be climbing up the social ladder. Jun Xiaoyao nodded secretly. The strong were respected in the foreign realm. As long as one was strong enough and had enough power, it was easy to make others submit. These people could be considered to have adapted to the situation. In the future, you will temporarily listen to the leader of the slave race, Tuobayu, and follow him to believe in the God of destiny and creation, Jun Xiaoyao said. This. Okay. The heavenly venerates of the royal families hesitated slightly, but they still agreed. Also remember, I hate betrayal. The 1,000,000 traitors are an example. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was cold. The living beings of the 5 royal families all shivered inwardly. The scene of Jun Xiaoyao destroying millions of lives with a snap of his fingers was still deeply imprinted in their minds. Of course, you can also receive the blessing of the God of destiny and creation, and can cultivate the techniques he bestowed. Jun Xiaoyao was still very good at playing the trick of giving a date with a stick. Sure enough, the beings of the 5 royal families all revealed looks of joy. Previously, they were also very curious as to why these slaves had become so strong. Now, it seemed that it was because they had received the God of Destiny and Creation's technique. Lord Divine Envoy, Tuobayu and Tuobalan stepped forward. When they saw Jun Xiaoyao, they couldn't hide their excitement, and their faces flushed red. Jun Xiaoyao was already a legendary existence in their hearts. Develop well. If you encounter any obstacles, report my name. I believe that no one will be so tactless. As for the 5 royal families, I'll leave them to you to manage, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yes, thank you for your appreciation, Lord Divine Envoy. The dignified holy hero of the Alliance of Destiny was now like a little fan who had received a gift from his idol. Tuobalan's beautiful eyes were also full of splendor. Lord Divine Envoy is not only a war god, but he's also so good-looking. Tuobalan's eyes were a little blurred. She had the material to dream about at night. Chapter 10:23. After the 5 royal bloodlines merge, I think the name can be changed. The Alliance of Fate is no longer suitable. Let's call it the Church of Fate. The God of Fate and Creation will bless all of you. He is watching over all of you. Jun Xiaoyao was good at bluffing. The Church of Fate. Tuobayu muttered to himself, his eyes firm. We will definitely live up to Sir Oracle's expectations. Tuoba Yu and countless slaves responded in unison, their voices shaking the sky. Jun Xiaoyao nodded with satisfaction. After the monarch emperor's court, Jun Xiaoyao established a second force of his own. The Church of Fate. Jun Xiaoyao happened to be a fateless one. It was a good match for the Church of Fate. Although the Church of Fate was pitifully weak right now, without a single top expert. Unlike the monarch emperor's court, which had mystique venerables and divine venerables at the beginning of its establishment. However, Jun Xiaoyao was confident that the Church of Fate would definitely expand into a giant force in the future. This was because religions were often more attractive than ordinary forces. Perhaps even Jun Xiaoyao himself would not have thought of it. The Church of Fate was established to make it easier to harvest faith. In the future, it would become a super sect that would sweep across the heavens and make billions of creatures worship. Of course, that was a story for another day. After the matter was over, Jun Xiaoyao made some arrangements and left directly. Next, he would let Tuoba Yu and the others confidently develop believers. They could also start preaching in some royal bloodlines. Jun Xiaoyao was already able to sense that the power of faith in the innerverse was increasing at every moment. It was hard to imagine what kind of existence the seed of faith would give birth to. In short, Jun Xiaoyao felt that it should not disappoint him. I hope the Church of Fate will bring me more surprises in the future, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Afterward, Jun Xiaoyao did not rush. Instead, he strolled on the foreign land with Luo Xiangling. This time, Luo Xiangling had been used as a tool. Naturally, he had to compensate her. Jun Xiaoyao was also comprehending the law of devouring that he had extracted from the God-Devourer Prince's body. He did not intend to turn the God-Devourer Prince's laws into his own. Instead, he had to disassemble, analyze, comprehend, and then condense his own laws. As for the little divine demon ant, it returned to Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe after refining the spirit-eating bug's body and began its transformation. In just 1 month, Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling traveled through the mountains and rivers. During this time, the power of law once again filled Jun Xiaoyao's body. In his body, the power of law and the devouring immortal qi fused together. A brand new and complete set of laws appeared. It was pitch black and seemed to represent a supreme devouring profundity. The law of devour was formed. This was the second law that Jun Xiaoyao had condensed after the physical body law. Jun Xiaoyao's body shook slightly as he felt his strength rise again. Although he did not break through to the next realm, he was much more powerful than before. Not only that, the law of devour made Jun Xiaoyao's god-devouring demonic technique even stronger, and it also integrated the spirit-eating bug's devouring great divine power. All in all, Jun Xiaoyao had picked up a big bargain on this trip. Hey Xiaoyao Yu! Luo Xiangling noticed the subtle change in Jun Xiaoyao's aura. Just a little. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Luo Xiangling took a deep look at Jun Xiaoyao. It seems that you still have a lot of secrets. Who doesn't? Xiangling, if you want to know, I can tell you. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Luo Xiangling. If he let her know his true identity, how would she react? However, Luo Xiangling shook her head willfully, like a young girl. No, I hope that when the time comes, you will tell me sincerely, instead of me forcing you to tell me. Jun Xiaoyao did not force her to explore her past, so how could she force Jun Xiaoyao to tell her? Xiangling, you are really considerate. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. This beautiful auntie was quite likable at times. No way. Luo Xiangling turned her face away. Her cheeks were slightly hot. She was no longer a little girl, but she always blushed and her heart beat faster. More than a month later, Jun Xiaoyao and Luo Xiangling slowly returned to the Styx River Prefecture. On the way, Jun Xiaoyao also heard that the matchmaking convention in the barbarian and demonic tribes was about to begin. It was time for Jun Xiaoyao to go to Tushan to sign in. Xiangling, aren't you going? Jun Xiaoyao asked. I'm not going. What can a woman like me do at the matchmaking convention? Luo Xiangling shook her head. She would only be jealous if she went. Out of sight, out of mind. Moreover, she and Jun Xiaoyao had been together for a long time and knew Jun Xiaoyao's character. Beauty was not attractive to him. That's good. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, exchanged a few pleasantries, and left. He really wanted to know what good things he could sign in at the matchmaking convention. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's departing figure, Luo Xiangling was slightly stunned for a moment. Then she bit her cherry lips with her jade-like teeth. Idiot, I don't want you to go. Luo Xiangling could not say such words no matter what. It was even more impossible for her to say it in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Hence, she returned to the Ares Academy with a little bit of resentment. The barbarian and demonic tribes, one of the top 10 tribes of the foreign lands. It was the paradise of the demon race, the paradise of the ferocious beasts. Among the 10 great provinces, it was considered a relatively desolate place. But recently, it had become the focus of the foreign world. The famous Tushan 5 beauties were about to hold a matchmaking convention. It attracted countless prodigies and all kinds of outstanding talent. This was the matchmaking convention of the immortal emperor race. If one could marry one of the Tushan 5 beauties, they would have the backing of an emperor race. It was equivalent to marrying into a wealthy family. Even if it was a quasi-emperor race with similar status, the emperor race, it was equivalent to obtaining an emperor race ally. Therefore, the matchmaking convention was extremely attractive to all male prodigies. In the great barbarian continent there was a region called Tushan. This was the residence of the immortal emperor race of the foreign world, the Tushan lineage. At this moment, the Tushan area was decorated with lanterns and colored banners, and the atmosphere was jubilant. The prodigies of various races gathered in Tushan, looking forward to it. Even if there was no chance of being chosen. Just seeing the grace of the Tushan 5 beauties was enough to make this trip worthwhile. In the void, light suddenly surged. A white jade-like lion was pulling a gorgeous carriage. That's the night jade lion. A foreign creature couldn't help but exclaim when he saw it. This was a mutant race. Its strength was extremely strong to begin with, comparable to the prodigies of the quasi-emperor races. But now it was pulling a carriage. It's the carriage of that emperor's son of the Enlon emperor race. On the other side, the demonic cattail seed fluttered in the void like snowflake. A woman in a long green dress appeared. It was goddess Pu Kuei. Another one of the 7 young emperors has appeared. The appearance of some great figures among the foreign prodigies attracted waves of commotion. These were all people that were rarely seen. Suddenly, a whistling sound that seemed to pierce through metal and rocks sounded. It was 9 golden-crowned eagles pulling a carriage over. A handsome man dressed in reddish-gold battle armor with red wings on his back was inside. His expression was indifferent, as if victory was within his grasp. It's Qi Hongyu. He really came. Many gazes gathered. Previously, the news of Qi Hongyu being defeated in Tushan could be said to be spread like wildfire. Now, the Qi Shao clan had ascended, and Qi Hongyu had become the Qi Shao king's disciple. Could Qi Hongyu, who had a different status, turn the tables and win the beauty? Many people were curious. Chapter 1024. Countless pairs of eyes fell upon Qi Hongyu. As a popular figure in the barbarian and demon continent, Qi Hongyu's every move was very eye-catching. Not to mention that he had a dark history in Tushan. This was a memory that Qi Hongyu himself did not want to recall. But now, Qi Hongyu's expression was calm and composed. Things were different now. This time, Qi Hongyu came with the goal of marrying a beautiful wife and concubine. In fact, there might even be more than one. Tushan was decorated with lanterns and colored banners, and fireworks filled the sky. It was extraordinarily lively. Tens of thousands of banquets were spread out. Many beautiful Tushan Fox clan girls with foxtails on their backs carried jade plates and delicacies to the table. Many male prodigies who came were dazzled. The Tushan Fox clan girls were famous for their beauty. Just these girls alone were so charming. It was hard to imagine how charming the Tushan 5 beauties were. I heard that the Tushan 5 beauties have different personalities and beauty. Some are charming, some are cute, and some are elegant. Sigh, your thinking is a little complicated. Men don't care so much. They can just differentiate by size. Then, the bigger the better. No, moderation is beauty. It's just nice to hold. You guys are so vulgar. If you ask me, beauty depends on your thighs. The group of men began to discuss gentlemanly topics, causing some of the Tushan Fox clan girls to blush and grumble coquettishly. Of course, those noble quasi-emperor clans and prodigies were naturally in the VIP seats. Prince Enlon suddenly walked to Goddess Pu Kuei's side. His hair shone brightly and his face was handsome. He looked very otherworldly. The Enlon Emperor clan was a well-known immortal emperor clan in the foreign domain. Their ancient ancestor, Enlon, used the Enlon spear to intimidate the heavens. As the prince of the Enlon Emperor clan, he was also extraordinary and was one of the 7 minor emperors. Goddess Pu Kuei, have you heard of a piece of news recently? Prince Enlon asked meaningfully. Goddess Pu Kuei was dressed in a green dress, and her true form was the demonic Taifa tree. She naturally did not come here to find a groom, but to see if she could meet someone. You mean the God-devourer Emperor's son? Goddess Pu Kuei had obviously heard of it. The intelligence networks behind these top figures were not weak. The God-devourer prince was killed by the primal chaos body in the heavenly tomb continent. A major character of the God-Eater clan was enraged and wanted to attack the primal chaos body, but was stopped in the end, said Prince Enlon. Could it be the Shanao of Beach from the Ares Academy again? Goddess Pu Kuei was curious. Everyone knew that the Shanao of Beach of the Ares Academy cared a lot about the Chaos Constitution. No, it's the Izya clan, said Prince Enlon. The Iza clan, the clan that has some connections with the Avacania realm. Goddess Pu Kuei was surprised. The Iza clan was also an immortal emperor clan. However, what was special about them was that they had some connections with the Avacania land. They were also a very mysterious race. But the Iza clan doesn't seem to have anything to do with the Chaos Body. Why would they stop the God-Eater clan for him? Goddess Pu Kuei found it strange. It should be related to the Chaos Constitution's identity as one of the 6 apocalyptic kings. I heard that there seems to be an awakened king in the Iza clan, said Prince Enlon. I see. It seems that no one in our world dares to provoke the Chaos Constitution. Goddess Pu Kuei sighed. The Ares Academy, the Iza clan, and the mysterious immortal behind the Chaos Constitution. In the foreign realm, other than the Ultimate Emperor clan, who would dare to kill the Chaos Constitution? Isn't your purpose of coming here this time for the Chaos Constitution? Prince Enlan's eyes were deep. Indeed. Pu Yao, the prodigy of my clan, provoked the Chaos Constitution before. Now I want to see if I can ease the relationship with him. After all, he has already killed 2 of the 7 minor emperors. I'm afraid that I will suddenly disappear, Goddess Pu Kuei said honestly. She was really a little scared. The 7 minor emperors whose names shook the foreign realm. They were killed one by Jun Xiaoyao like chickens. Goddess Pu Kuei was afraid that it would be her turn soon. But he hasn't come yet. I don't know if I can see the Chaos Constitution this time. Prince Enlon shook his head. Then, a Tushan elder appeared. Welcome to Tushan, everyone. The purpose of this matchmaking convention is to find a good husband for the 5 princesses of Tushan. Of course, the man who can become my son-in-law must be 1 in 10,000 and surpass his peers. Next, I will set up 3 stages. Anyone can participate. As long as you can pass, you will be qualified to be chosen by the princesses. After the Tushan elder finished speaking, formation patterns surged in the entire Tushan. As the light flickered, 3 areas appeared. These 3 stages are the illusion realm, the 10,000 beast formation, and the embroidered ball battle. If you want to become my son-in-law and are willing to participate, you can enter the formation. As soon as the Tushan elder finished speaking, countless wind-breaking sounds immediately sounded in the world. The prodigies of the various clans swarmed into the formation like carps crossing the river. I'll go join in the fun and see if I can find a good match. Prince Anlan smiled and stepped into the void. It was impossible for Goddess Pu Kuei to participate. She sighed softly and looked towards the horizon. Is he not coming? On the other side, Qi Hongyu smiled faintly. He had been trained by King Qi Shao. In terms of strength, he was not inferior to the 7 minor emperors. So today, he could get one of the 5 beauties. If he was lucky, it was not impossible to get the favor of 2 beauties. After all, there was a world of difference between him now and before. There should be no women who would not be surprised and admire him. Soon, the challenge began. The first stage, the illusion realm, tested one's temperament, willpower, spirit, soul, and so on. To a certain extent, it was similar to the 100 reincarnations that Jun Xiaoyao had experienced in the reincarnation sea. Of course, compared to the strength of the 100 reincarnation cycle, the difference was huge. However, there were still a large number of prodigies who were immersed in it and couldn't extricate themselves. If you don't even have the most basic temperament, what right do you have to be my son-in-law? Seeing this scene, the Tushan elder sneered in his heart. How could the immortal emperor race be so easy to climb? Not all losers could turn the tables. Of course, there were also those who performed well. For example, Prince Anlan had directly walked through the illusory realm, and it was as if he'd entered a deserted place. He didn't even stop. Qi Hongyu was the same. There were also some prodigies from other emperor races and quasi-emperor races who performed well. The second stage was called the 10,000 Beasts formation. There were many ferocious beasts formed by formation runes. Most of them had the strength of a quasi-emperor or a supremacy. There were even those who had perfected supremacy. Obviously, this was a test of one's true foundation and strength. In this round, a large number of sky prides who were not strong enough were eliminated. While these prodigies were challenging the stage, at the highest peak in the depths of Tushan, in a luxurious palace on the clouds, 5 women with different graces were in the middle. A light screen appeared in front of them, reflecting the images of the prodigies who were challenging the stage. A lazy voice came from behind them. My daughters, who do you like? Chapter 10:25. Without a doubt, these 5 beautiful women were the 5 princesses of the Tushan emperor family. The first princess, Tushan Yeya, was in a red dress. She had a domineering figure and was a seductive beauty. The second princess, Tushan Taotao, was in an apricot yellow dress. She looked weak and delicate, but she was also quite beautiful. The third princess, Tushan Xiaoxiao, was in a long dress. She was slender and flawless. She was also good at playing the guzheng. She was elegant and charming. She was in love with Linglong. The fourth princess, Tushan Wanwan, was in a green armor. She was valiant and had a straightforward personality. Although she was called a tomboy by her sisters, she was both valiant and seductive. The fifth princess, Tushan Chunchun, was in a pink dress. Her white hair was soft. She was mischievous and charming. She was like a crystal porcelain doll. It could be said that if these 5 beauties with different styles walked out at the same time, they would definitely blind the eyes of all men. She had all the types of women that she should have. Behind the 5 of them stood a tall and beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure. She had a mature charm in her seductive appearance. This was something that not even the first princess, Tushan Yeya, had. Tushan Yeya was indeed seductive, but she lacked the charm that came with age. She was the mother of the 5 princesses. Her name was Tushan Mingfei. She was a divine creation expert and one of the leaders of Tushan. Tushan Mingfei was worried sick about the marriage of her 5 daughters. If they couldn't find a partner, it would be difficult for their love dream Immortal Sutra to evolve. It would be even more impossible for them to break through to a higher level and reach new height. Daughters, is there anyone you like? Your marriage can't be delayed any longer, Tushan Mingfei urged. Tushan Mingfei wouldn't be in such a hurry if her 5 daughters hadn't found a good husband. However, the first princess, Tushan Yeye, was looking at the prodigies on the light screen. She was just picking her fingernails out of boredom. The second princess, Tushan Taotao, was also looking away. The third princess, Tushan Xiaoxiao, was thinking about something. The fourth princess, Tushan Wanwan, and the fifth princess, Tushan Chunchun, were both absent-minded. He wasn't looking at the light screen at all. It was as if he was daydreaming, thinking about something. His face was dispirited. Looking at her 5 disinterested daughters, Tushan Mingfei put her hand to her forehead and felt helpless. Why didn't you come? Tushan Chunchun was upset. Jun Xiaoyao had promised her that he would attend the matchmaking event. Even if she didn't come here to participate in the betrothal contest, Tushan Chunchun would be satisfied as long as she could attend it. Tushan Xiaoxiao had the same thought. I'm afraid those 2 girls are no longer interested in the matchmaking ceremony. Tushan Yeye cast a sidelong glance at Tushan Chunchun. Looking at her 5 daughters, Tushan Mingfei put her hands on her hips, raised her plump chest and said, I don't care. Today, all 5 of you must find a partner. If you don't have a partner, you won't be able to improve. In the future, Tushan will depend on you. Mother, we need to see if there's anything we like, said Tushan Xiaoxiao. I feel that the imperial prince of the Enlan imperial clan is pretty good. There's also Qi Hongyu from the Qi Shao clan. The current hymn is quite suitable for you. Tushan Mingfei glanced at the light screen. Crown Prince Enlan, Qi Hongyu, and the others were indeed the most outstanding. If it was in the past, Tushan Mingfei would definitely look down on Qi Hongyu. But now, she could accept him. The 5 beauties didn't think so. Qi Hongyu could be considered a counterattack. But in their eyes it was just SOSO. On the other hand, Qi Hongyu and the others had easily broken through the second stage of the 1,000 Beasts formation. Next was the third stage, the embroidered ball battle. This was the last stage. The rules were simple. A huge arena floated in the void. There were 20 embroidered balls on it. The prodigies who could snatch the embroidered balls were qualified to be chosen by the 5 beauties to become their husbands. There weren't many prodigies who could make it to the third stage, but there were a few hundred of them. Among these prodigies, the lowest status was from the top royal families. The competition was fierce. Who dares to compete with me? Qi Hongyu's expression was cold, and his eyes were like lightning. The surrounding prodigies all stayed far away. He successfully obtained the embroidered ball. Crown Prince Enlan and the others also obtained it. Outside, countless spectators were watching the ceremony. They weren't surprised by the selected candidate. Looks like Crown Prince Enlan will be able to get the beauty as he wishes today, Goddess Pu Kuei muttered to herself. Soon, the 20 candidates who obtained the embroidered balls appeared. Congratulations, everyone, you are qualified to become the son-in-law of the Tushan clan, the elder of the Tushan clan said with a smile. These 20 people arrived at the palace above the clouds. Below, hundreds of thousands of living beings of various races were watching with envious gazes. I wonder who will get the beauty today? Many people were curious. In the void, a rain of flowers fell. The appearance of the 5 peerless beauties made heaven and earth pale in comparison. Seeing this, Qi Hongyu clenched his fists. It was time to wash away the humiliation. He was very confident that he would be chosen. Because the 5 beauties of Tushan had no choice. The only outstanding people were him, Crown Prince Enlan, and a few others. Crown Prince Enlan's expression was indifferent. It was purely for entertainment, and it was naturally best if he could get the beauty. Everyone, you are all one in a million peerless figures. I hope you treat my daughter with sincerity. Tushan Mingfei also appeared. She was charming, beautiful, and curvy. Her curves were not inferior to Tushan Ye's. They were so ripe and plump that juice could drip out. Amazing! A prodigy with the surname Chao looked at Tushan Mingfei and swallowed his saliva. On the other side, Qi Hongyu smiled and said, "You're being too polite, Your Holiness Mingfei. We came to participate in the matchmaking convention because we admire the 5 beauties very much." That's good. Tushan Mingfei nodded slightly. Qi Hongyu understood what she meant. What else could they compete in next? Betrothal gifts? Qi Hongyu waved his sleeve, and all kinds of rare treasures appeared. Many of them were accumulated for a long time or obtained through fortuitous encounters. Even the supreme treasure that the Scarlet Owl King had bestowed upon him was offered up by him. When Prince Enlon saw this, he took out his betrothal gift as well. This was also a part of the competition. Even among the Boundary Emperor clans and Emperor clans, prodigies were divided into different levels. Only the most favored prodigies would have more capital. Looking at the dazzling betrothal gifts, the prodigies below were amazed. This was the work of the Boundary Emperor clans and Emperor clans. Tushan Mingfei nodded slightly. These betrothal gifts were reasonable. However, the 5 princesses' expressions were very calm. "Daughters, start activating the Immortal Sutra of Passion and see if the red string of marriage can be tied to the fated person," Tushan Mingfei said. Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun sighed in their hearts. Especially Tushan Wanwan. She knew that the red string of marriage that belonged to her had already been connected to someone else. Just as everyone was waiting for the 5 princesses of Tushan to find a good husband, a voice suddenly rang out. A faint voice suddenly came from the distant sky. "Am I late to this matchmaking convention?" Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chuanchuan's beautiful eyes lit up when they heard this voice. "Sir! Sir!" The 2 girls couldn't help but cry out in joy. Chapter 10:26. In the distance, a handsome figure in a white robe appeared. It was Jun Xiaoyao. He was not in a hurry. He did not come to the matchmaking event for the matchmaking event. Everyone went silent for a moment when they saw Jun Xiaoyao show up. "It's the chaotic body. The god of war is here. I was right. The god of war will come." Jun Xiaoyao's arrival attracted everyone's attention. As one of the top celebrities in the foreign lands, Jun Xiaoyao would attract attention wherever he went. The god of war is like the rumors. He's an immortal. He's like a god in the mortal world. Some of the female creatures were mesmerized. In the foreign lands, one would only be treated as a plaything if they were good-looking. One would be the center of attention if they were both good-looking and powerful. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao appeared, all the male prodigies were overshadowed by his otherworldly aura. Even Qi Hongyu, Prince Enlon, and the others, who were the center of attention. Jun Xiaoyao had taken all the limelight away from him, making him look rather lackluster. "Sir! Sir!" Tushan Chunchun and Tushan Wanwan flew to Jun Xiaoyao's side without caring about their image. Jun Xiaoyao was sandwiched in the middle, one on the left and one on the right. "Sir, Chunchun thought you wouldn't come." "That's right. If Sir doesn't come, what's the point of this matchmaking event?" Seeing Jun Xiaoyao being sandwiched by the 2 beauties, all the creatures in the foreign lands were speechless. They were the brides who were going to be married today. However, they were so enthusiastic about Jun Xiaoyao. It was like they were 2 different people compared to when they were talking to those suitors. Sorry. I ran into some trouble on the way and wasted some time." Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Goddess Pu Kuei suddenly stepped forward and said with a smile, "Sir, the trouble you're talking about is killing the god-devouring prince, right?" A single sentence caused the heavens and earth to fall into a deathly silence. What? Lord War God killed the god-devourer prince, one of the 7 minor emperors? Many people's minds went blank and their scalps went numb. The news of the god-devourer prince's death had yet to spread. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Pu Kuei. These emperor clans were quite well informed. "I'm Pu Kuei from the Pu Devil race. Previously, Pu Yao from my race had a conflict with you. I hope you don't mind. Goddess Pu Kue lowered her stance. She was just short of telling Jun Xiaoyao, I hope you don't mess with me and cause trouble for me. I don't care who it is. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. Tushan Yeye, Tushan Taotao, and Tushan Xiaoxiao all looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Their eyes lit up. Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was indeed very special. On the other hand, Tushan Xiaoxiao's eyes flashed with suspicion. This temperament seemed familiar. However, after thinking about it for a while, she shook her head. There shouldn't be such a thing. He has the chaotic body. Tushan Xiaoxiao cut off that ridiculous thought in her mind. Tushan Mingfei also looked at Jun Xiaoyao, feeling a little stunned. It was her first time seeing a junior with such a unique temperament. The war god, I've heard a lot about you. I'm Prince Enlon. Prince Enlon cupped his hands slightly at Jun Xiaoyao, his attitude amiable. The Enlon clan, Jun Xiaoyao murmured in his heart. This clan was very famous. Jun Xiaoyao also nodded. Then, he looked at Qi Hongyu. Qi Hongyu's expression was cold. Especially when he saw Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chuanchuan's attitude towards Jun Xiaoyao. He felt even more uncomfortable. Previously, when he proposed, he was mercilessly rejected. He didn't even get to see the 5 princesses. However, they were so enthusiastic towards Jun Xiaoyao. They were simply throwing themselves at him. How could there be such a huge gap between two people? War god Jade Xiaoyao, you're not here to participate in the matchmaking convention, right? Qi Hongyu said calmly. I'm just here to join in the fun, Jun Xiaoyao said. He could vaguely sense a special wave from Qi Hongyu. Only the Heavenly Book Master could sense it. Qi Hongyu is indeed the Heavenly Book Master. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes dimmed. He could vaguely sense Qi Hongyu's wave. However, Qi Hongyu couldn't sense his wave. With the help of the sky-stealing sun-swapping technique, Jun Xiaoyao could completely conceal his aura and wave. After that, although Tushan Wanwan and Tushan Chunchun were helpless, they still activated the Immortal Sutra of Passion with the other 3 sisters. Marriage red strings spread out from their bodies. All eyes were on them. Everyone wanted to know who would benefit from these 5 beauties in the end. It's me, it must be me. Qi Hongyu murmured in his heart. Not only did he want to marry the princess of the Tushan Fox clan, but he also wanted to wash away the humiliation of being rejected. The 5 marriage red strings landed on the 20 suitors who had obtained the embroidered balls. However, they skipped over them one by one. A few of the red strings came to Qi Hongyu. Qi Hongyu held his breath for a moment. He watched as the marriage red strings approached. Then, he missed them. How can this be? Qi Hongyu's mind buzzed. Swoosh. The 5 marriage red strings seemed to have sensed something and suddenly flew into the distance. Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, they were tied to Jun Xiaoyao's hand. 5 marriage red strings were tied to his 5 fingers. Not to mention the tens of thousands of prodigies present, they were extremely shocked. Even Jun Xiaoyao himself was stunned by what he saw. He was just a bystander, an onlooker. He had never thought of getting involved. How can this be? How can 5 marriage red strings be tied to one person? Even the god of war can't do this, right? Could there be something wrong with this cultivation method of the Tushan Fox clan? Astonishment was written all over everyone's faces. They were all stupefied. It was already a blessing of 3 lifetimes to be able to marry a princess of Tushan. However, all 5 marriage red strings were tied to Jun Xiaoyao's hand. That was ridiculous. What's going on? Could there be something wrong? Tushan Mingfei, the mother of the 5 princesses, was also very surprised. How outstanding was the man who could match up to her 5 daughters at the same time. She wanted to check if there was something wrong with the immortal scripture of love and dream. Tushan Mingfei's beautiful eyes flashed slightly, and she also slightly activated the immortal scripture of love and dream. A red line of marriage appeared. Although Tushan Mingfei was already a mother, she was still practicing this cultivation method. Then, the red string of marriage seemed to have been attracted to Jun Xiaoyao again, and it was tied to his wrist. Tushan Mingfei was stunned. The 5 princesses were also stunned. Jun Xiaoyao was also stunned. Everyone was stunned. What the hell was going on? How could Tushan Mingfei's marriage red string be tied to Jun Xiaoyao's hand? Some creatures were stunned and couldn't help but say, "Oh my God, oh my God." Even the mother-in-law. What's going to happen next? Is it going to be rejuvenated? Chapter 10:27. This scene came as a surprise to everyone. They didn't expect such a ridiculous scene to appear. It was already a blessing to have one of the 5 beauties of Tushan. And now, all 5 of the red strings of marriage were tied to Jun Xiaoyao. What was even more ridiculous was that even their mother, Tushan Mingfei's red string of marriage, was tied to Jun Xiaoyao. This could be said to have made the eyeballs of all living beings almost fall out. Even Jun Xiaoyao himself, who was the person involved in the incident. His brain was slightly short-circuited. There was something special about this Tushan cultivation method. Although Jun Xiaoyao knew that he was very outstanding, it could be said that it was unprecedented in the past and would never be replicated in the future. Since ancient times, it was unparalleled in the world. No man could be more good-looking than him. No man could surpass him in talent. If there were really immortals in the world, they might not be able to compare to Jun Xiaoyao when they were the same age as him. Jun Xiaoyao knew that he was outstanding, but it was a little ridiculous to all of them. "Mother, how can you do this? This is our matchmaking convention." Tushan Chunchun immediately became anxious and stomped her feet. The competition between the 5 sisters was already fierce enough. In the end, even her mother's red string of marriage was tied. This was definitely a big mistake. Tushan Mingfei couldn't help but blush. She was no longer a little girl, but at this moment she was also a little embarrassed. She didn't expect this to happen. Originally, she just wanted to test if there was something wrong with the red string of marriage. Now it seemed that, indeed, Jun Xiaoyao was too outstanding. He perfectly met the standards of the Tushan Fox clan. That was why these red strings were all tied to Jun Xiaoyao. Even her red string, if Jun Xiaoyao wasn't here, the red string of marriage might be interested in Prince Enlan, Qi Hongyu, and the others. But now Jun Xiaoyao was like the bright moon, and the other 20 outstanding suitors were just fireflies. What should we do? Lord War God doesn't seem to be here for the matchmaking convention. Yeah, he should be here to watch the ceremony. A mere spectator is actually more outstanding than all the participating heaven's favorites. How ironic. Many living beings clicked their tongues and sighed. He didn't expect to see such a wonderful scene. What would happen next? That's right. Mister, you are the one. Tushan Chunchun was thrilled. Previously, she was not willing to participate in the matchmaking convention. She had already made up her mind that she would not marry anyone other than Jun Xiaoyao. Now everything was perfect. Young master, me too. Tushan Wanwan was a straightforward person, but now she was a little shy, which was rare. He's that war god. He looks gentle and refined. I wonder what his personality is like. Tushan Taotao couldn't help but sneak a glance at Jun Xiaoyao and whispered, "How come? Apart from Jun Xiaoyao, there's someone else." Tushan Xiaoxiao was suspicious. Previously, her red string of marriage was connected to the son of God of the Jun family in the immortal region. After it was severed, she was sure that Jun Xiaoyao had died. Looks like this chaotic body's talent is not inferior to the son of God of the Jun family in the immortal region, Tushan Xiaoxiao thought to herself. As for Tushan Yeye, her beautiful eyes locked onto Jun Xiaoyao the moment he appeared. The primordial chaotic body is indeed the best candidate. It can also help me reach a higher level. More importantly, the chaotic body should last for a long time. Tushan Yeye licked her red lips. Although she looked seductive, she was actually very protective of her body. If she was certain, she would only be loyal to one person. Jun Xiaoyao did indeed meet her criteria in many aspects. He was much more outstanding than Prince Anlan and Qi Hongyu. TSK, my good son-in-law, you're so late. Tushan Mingfei smiled seductively to ease the awkward atmosphere. The red string of marriage disappeared silently. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao, and the more she looked, the more satisfied she was. You must be Senior Mingfei. I'm just here to watch the ceremony. I don't have any other intentions. Jun Xiaoyao smiled politely. If it were anyone else, they would have already taken all 5 beauties in their arms if they were given such treatment. However, Jun Xiaoyao had seen too many peerless beauties along the way. He already had a strong immunity. Although he wasn't Lu Xiaohui, he wasn't an animal who thought with his lower body. He couldn't stop other women from liking him. However, he wouldn't fall in love easily. Sir, you can't avoid it. Tushan Chun giggled. Sir, I hope you can guide me in my cultivation. Tushan Wanwan was also very straightforward. It seems that the Love Dream Immortal Sutra has already made a choice for me. Tushan Xiaoxiao didn't refuse. I want to try too. Tushan Taotao raised her hand weakly. Man, you've successfully attracted my attention. Tushan Yaya winked at Jun Xiaoyao seductively. The 5 beauties of Tushan actually expressed their interest in Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. As for the other 20 prodigies who made it out of the encirclement, they were left out in the cold. Snowflakes fluttered in the north wind. They felt a chill in their hearts. This doesn't conform to the rules. Qi Hongyu couldn't help but say. They had to go through 3 trials before they finally had the chance to propose marriage. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't do anything as soon as he arrived, and he won the favor of the 5 beauties and even his mother-in-law. Wasn't this a little too absurd? It caused Qi Hongyu's mentality to collapse. What happened to marrying a beauty? Didn't he say that he was going to wash away his shame? This didn't follow the plot at all. Rules? The red line of marriage is the best rule. Tushan Wanwan pursed her lips. She had already made up her mind when she was at the Aries Academy. Even if Jun Xiaoyao didn't come today, she wouldn't marry someone like Qi Hongyu. Looking at Qi Hongyu's unwillingness to admit defeat, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. Wasn't this the situation he wanted to see? Qi Hongyu, it seems like you really want to propose marriage? Jun Xiaoyao asked. What do you mean? Qi Hongyu raised his eyebrows. Jun Xiaoyao was like the sun in the sky in the foreign lands now. However, Qi Hongyu wasn't weak either. Hence, there was nothing to be afraid of. If you can give me something that I'm interested in, I might be willing to make a bet with you. If I lose, I won't interfere with the current situation. Jun Xiaoyao revealed a faint smile. Oh, what's the bet? Qi Hongyu asked. It's too much to ask you to defeat me, Jun Xiaoyao muttered. A sharp glint flashed across Qi Hongyu's eyes. However, he didn't say anything, because that was the truth. How about this? If you can defeat me, even if it's just 1 step, I'll consider it your win. Even half a step is fine. I'll leave immediately without any hesitation. Of course, the prerequisite is that you can give me something that I'm interested in. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. Jun Xiaoyao had already set a trap. He was just short of letting Qi Hongyu walk into it. However, Jun Xiaoyao was too good at reading people's minds. He had already seen through Qi Hongyu. He definitely wouldn't reject him. Chapter 10:28. Jun Xiaoyao's bet was definitely a temptation. It hit Qi Hongyu's weak spot. He did want to marry the beauties. Secondly, he wanted to wash away the shame in the past. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao's suggestion was very tempting to him. Sir, you. Tushan Chunchun wanted to say something but stopped. To put it bluntly, wasn't Jun Xiaoyao using them as stakes in a bet? If Jun Xiaoyao lost, wouldn't they have to marry someone else? Don't worry. Don't you trust me? Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. He admitted that he might be a bit of a jerk. But he was definitely not a jerk. He wouldn't do something as stupid as pushing the women who liked him to others. He couldn't stop the 5 beauties from liking him. He might not really have a wonderful relationship with the 5 beauties, but he definitely wouldn't push the 5 beauties to other men. Giving them away was such a stupid thing to do. Probably only those who liked to be cuckolded would do that. Jun Xiaoyao didn't think that he had such a special hobby. He also didn't have the habit of matchmaking. Jun Xiaoyao dared to bet because he was 100% confident. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Tushan Chunchun was completely relieved. She had absolute confidence in Jun Xiaoyao to begin with. Seeing this, Qi Hongyu's eyes darkened. He took out some treasures. For example, the elixir of immortality, divine gold, divine iron, and so on. But Jun Xiaoyao didn't even bother to look at them. He didn't care at all. Come on, how can these things compare to a strand of our hair? Tushan Chunchun snorted. She was helping Jun Xiaoyao. Do you think you can't even make young master take a step back? If so, which one of us will be willing to marry you? Tushan Wanwan also started to help. Hearing these words, Qi Hongyu's face stiffened. He was here today to wash away the shame. In the end, he was humiliated again. The tens of thousands of onlookers had strange expressions on their faces as they watched the show. Could it be that Qi Hongyu is going to repeat his old story today? That's enough. If you want to bet, I'll keep you company. However, what I'm going to take out next, can you reject it? Qi Hongyu shouted. He was so angry that he got carried away. Besides, Qi Hongyu knew that he could not defeat Jun Xiaoyao. He should be able to push her back a step, right? If he could not even do that, Qi Hongyu would look down on himself. He took out a dark golden scroll. It was like gold leaf, simple and low-key, but it gave off a feeling of the vicissitudes of life. Obviously, this was an item from the bygone era. This is, although Jun Xiaoyao was well aware of the answer, he still had to ask. Have you heard of the 9 great heavenly books? Qi Hongyu sneered. As soon as these words were spoken, countless beings were shocked. It's the 9 great heavenly tomes. Wasn't it said to have been lost in history? I heard that the 9 great heavenly tomes are related to a shocking secret. If one can collect all 9 great heavenly tomes, they will be able to see a path that has never been seen before. When Qi Hongyu took out the heavenly tomes, all the beings were shocked. Compared to the heavenly tomes, the elixir of immortality, immortal metal, and boundary emperor weapons were nothing. It was not that they were worthless, but they could not be compared to the heavenly tomes at all. That was because the 9 great heavenly tomes were too rare. There were only 9 of them in the entire universe. It could be said that Qi Hongyu was going all out in order to avenge his humiliation. Not bad. You've indeed piqued my interest. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Let me see what you're capable of. He did not waste any more words. Qi Hongyu attacked right away. He raised his hand and a raging inferno burned the sky. Even the void was burned down. Qi Xiao was an ominous bird that was born in the fire. It had mastered the ultimate law of fire. Jun Xiaoyao's body shook slightly in the face of Qi Hongyu's attack. A total of 20 dermic power immunity divine rings enveloped his body. No flames could get close to his body. Prince Mo Jie's technique. Heavenly Lady Pu Kue and Prince Enlan's eyes flashed. 3 realms 6 paths, Fire House Buddha Prison. Qi Hongyu did not hold back at all when he saw that. He immediately performed the ancestral technique of the Qi Xiao tribe. In an instant, heaven and earth seemed to have turned into a sea of fire. It was as if there were countless beings wailing in the flames. The entire 3 realms seemed to be a burning house. All the living beings were suffering in it. It was the ancestral technique of the Qi Xiao tribe. It was extremely powerful. It was like a prison of fire that imprisoned Jun Xiaoyao in it. It was constantly burning and refining. Moreover, this technique was supported by the law of fire in Qi Hongyu's body, increasing its power by several times. What a powerful technique! Some of the prodigies looked extremely solemn when they saw that. After being trained by the immortal king, Qi Hongyu's strength had indeed undergone a qualitative transformation. As expected of the Qi Shao king's disciple, his current strength is no weaker than the 7 minor emperors, Prince Enlon exclaimed. Facing Qi Hongyu's ultimate technique, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still calm. He activated the law of devour in his body. This was not the god-devouring emperor's technique. Instead, it was a technique that Jun Xiaoyao had comprehended after disassembling and comprehending it. A huge black hole appeared. Countless pitch-black devour Dao laws spread and intertwined in the surroundings. The sea of flames that covered the sky and the earth, as well as the fire mansion's cage, were all devoured by it. That's the god-devouring emperor's technique. Prince Enlon and Goddess Pu Kuei were shocked when they saw that. It was one thing for Jun Xiaoyao to perform the god-devouring emperor's technique, but now, he had even performed the god-devouring emperor's technique. How is this possible? Qi Hongyu was a little confused. How could his ancestral technique be broken so easily? Whoosh! Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward and pushed his hand. An ancient tablet appeared in the void and shattered the void. It was the battle tablet hand from the God of War catalog. Bam! Qi Hongyu was sent flying. The blood in his chest was churning. Jun Xiaoyao stomped his foot again. In the void, spatial ripples spread out, and traces of spatial cracks appeared. It was the void quake from the God of War catalog as well. Splat! Qi Hongyu finally spat out a mouthful of blood. Jun Xiaoyao instantly appeared above Qi Hongyu. He stomped on his chest and sent him crashing toward the mountain peak. Qi Hongyu spat out a mouthful of blood. "Give me the heavenly book," Jun Xiaoyao said coldly as he stomped on Qi Hongyu. Qi Hongyu had no doubt that if he hesitated for a moment, Jun Xiaoyao would crush his body. Here. Qi Hongyu was bleeding from the corner of his mouth. He had bitten his lips so hard that they were bleeding. He could only give the soul book to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao took the soul book and released his foot. He said with a smile, "You're willing to admit defeat. That's admirable." Qi Hongyu was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. How could he not admit defeat? If he did not admit defeat, he would lose his life. He knew that Jun Xiaoyao killed people without batting an eyelid. He did not even hesitate to kill Prince Emojia. Everyone present looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a covetous look in their eyes. After all, the heavenly book was an absolute treasure. No one would not covet it, although it might cause some trouble if he obtained the soul book in public. However, Jun Xiaoyao had the Ares Academy behind him. He had the protection of the Shanao of Beech and the Luo King. He also had a mysterious immortal in the eyes of others. Jun Xiaoyao believed that no one would dare to do anything to him. It seems like there's no doubt about the outcome of today's matchmaking. 5 beauties marrying one husband. This is truly an unexpected situation. Didn't you forget someone? Many people were whispering to each other. They did not expect this outcome. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly felt a burning sensation on his wrist. It was the dark hexagram mark. It was burning. Jun Xiaoyao looked into the distance and sensed a dark aura of the same origin. As expected, the show is not over yet.